and comes back to the 27-yard line. That's Robert Seeger, a backup fullback. And that is where they'll start their first offensive series of the game. And here's the man who's really played well in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Early on had some injuries, and the fans got on a little bit. But look at the touchdown mark, 42 career touchdowns, a school record.
Not only that, the last 3 games have been the best of his career with an 8-to-1 touchdown to turnover ratio. That's impressive.
Ray Lucas, a senior out of Harrison, New Jersey. And the Chili's offensive backs and receivers. Reggie Funderburk, a big play man. We've already talked about Marco Battaglia. Everyone has already said everything you can about that man. We'll watch him today. Play action. Lucas on the roll. And now under pressure and throws incomplete. Steve Harper, the intended receiver.
Ball was knocked loose by Darrell Porter. The ball is perfectly thrown by Lucas. He was trying to get it to Battaglia. Instead went outside and it was knocked loose.
And the offensive line, veteran crew. And Robert Barr, the right tackle, a senior out of Freehold, New Jersey, the man who leads the way.
This is a group that averages 295 pounds, and yet Barr is the guy. The pros like him a lot. They love him. He's got good, quick feet. He's huge, 320 pounds, and very good hands.
So 2nd and 10. And Ezra Johnson joining Bruce Presley in the backfield right now, and they work out of the eye. And it's Presley straight ahead, maybe one. That's about it. And the defense that they will be facing today, the defensive front for BC, Giannakakis, the left defensive end leading that defensive front.
He's got 5 sacks on the year. You know, he enrolled at BC as a tight end. They moved him to defense. Morabito is not starting the game. Instead, it's Coleman. Morabito probably will play. He's the nose guard, the captain of the team, but he's got a sore right knee.
And Tim, we'll talk about it all day long. Both of these teams have just been racked with injury.
Decimated.
So it's 3rd and about 8. Almost 9 from the 29. Lucas back to throw. Out in the flat, he's got Presley as halfback, and he is dropped right at the 25-yard line.
What a nice job by Yarbo, the linebacker. He just kind of followed that play all the way. Never fooled him.
Look at the defensive backfield. Rob Clifford, a senior out of Hanson, Massachusetts.
Boy, has he been a steady influence on this defense. 5 interceptions, 2 against Miami, and he's the 2nd leading tackler.
So Jared Slovin in for the punt. Kenyatta Watson, who was injured and making his way back in this game. He's been out for a few games. He had a pulled hip muscle. And he stands back at his own 31-yard line. End over end punt. Watson with a lot of room. More room. To the near sideline, he may go. To the end zone, Kenyatta Watson, what a way to come back. .64 yards, Kenyatta Watson, the junior out of Boca Raton, Florida, and he has been injured. He's been out, and he makes his way back, returning this one for a touchdown.
Tremendous cut against the grain. The punt was only 38 yards. It allowed him to take it on a dead run. That gave him the running start. Got 2 blocks, cut back, and once he went against the grain, there was nobody left there except the punter, and he outran him.
He is a dangerous man returning kicks. There was a question as to whether he would, though. He's been out with that hip injury, and so you didn't know whether they just bring him in as a wide receiver today or return punts, and he answered the question. McGuire on for the extra point, and it is good. So very quickly, the Boston College Eagles on the scoreboard. They lead by a touchdown early on. Actually kicked off less than 2 minutes ago, but Kenyatta Watson had brought back a punt, 63 yards, and they lead it 7-0. Terrell Willis back deep along with Chad Bosch again for the Scarlet Knights. And this time it's Bosch at his own 20-yard line. Across the 30 out to the 35 and a loose ball. BC thinks they have it, and we'll wait and see. And they still think they have it. Boy, what a start for the Scarlet Knights. Watson returns a punt for a touchdown, and now the scramble. They may have lost the ball on this kickoff, and I think they're going to retain possession. And they do. So Doug Graber in his 6th year at the helm here at Rutgers, and under some pressure as of late with the season that they've had this year.
It's an explosive offense. So Rutgers has gone over 40,000 yards the last 3 years in a row.
Presley, the lone setback, and off play action. Out to the tight end, there he is. Marco Battaglia in the leap across the 40. Up to the 42-yard line. You get a look at the athleticism of one Marco Battaglia.
Boy, is that not true? I mean, this guy, keep in mind, he's 6'3", 240 pounds. They say he runs like a wide receiver. How about that agility? Now, this field is not in good shape. It's all soggy. Now, watch him. Gets his footing under him, gets his balance. All right, sees the tackler. There's one. He breaks that. Now he jumps over another. This guy's 240 pounds. And then he bulls his way for a couple of extra yards, and he'll bring up 2nd down in about 4 or 5. So that's an outstanding play by Marco Battaglia, the tight end.
61 catches on the year, #1 receiver in the Big East. And a gain of 6 on the play, so 2nd and 4 at the 42-yard line. Presley again, the lone back, and here he is, straight ahead with room across the 50 and down to the 45-yard line of Boston College. Rob Clifford finally made the hit. And let's take you down and check in with John Spagnola.
Thanks, Terry. You know, Tim Brandt mentioned field conditions here. It's been pretty sloppy here since a month ago. 2 football games were played here on torrential downpours, and this field has never really recovered. Part of the reason is the sand underneath the grass is too fine, and it doesn't allow for drainage through. They put tarps on last night, but around the 30-yard line, right around where Rutgers is going to have the football very shortly, it is very sloppy field conditions. Terry?
All right, John, Boston College could not work out yesterday, as a matter of fact, because of the field. Presley back to the line of scrimmage.
I like that, though. Good old-fashioned quagmire.
There you go.
Mud, dirt.
Well, this is what we have today. The first team offensively in terms of total offense in the Big East against the last defense in the Big East, and it'll be that type of day. Dan Henning on the sideline, hoping that his defense can stop a very powerful offense. You mentioned all the yardage that they've accrued this year.
Terry, that's really impressive when a team goes over 4,000 yards 3 years in a row.
Quick out to Bill Powell, and he is dropped right at the 41-yard line. Vernon Spate, the cornerback, stopped him there. Powell, a redshirt freshman out of Rockville, Maryland. 20 catches on the year.
Kerner Spade, Dan Henning called him Superboy after the Pitt game. And, you know, they tried to isolate him that time one-on-one, just get the ball out there and give a lot of field to Powell. It was an outstanding play by Spate. The corners for Boston College have made 2 or 3 plays already one-on-one. Nicely.
So it brings up 3rd and 5 at the 41. And Lucas in the shotgun. Quickly to his tight end Battaglia. He's got a 1st down. Inside the 35 to the 34. Vernon Spate on the coverage and the tackle.
Terry, they're going to move Battaglia around. There's no question about it. They've used him at tight end. They'll use him in motion. Now they split him out a little bit, flex him. Watch this. Here's Battaglia at the top of your screen. He just goes down. He knows where the 1st down marker is and just kind of drifts back to the flags. Makes the catch, leans forward, 1st down. That's a very intelligent player. But this time they take the tight end. They split him or flex him out. Just real quick 3-step drop, get it out to him and let him work for the 1st.
Knew where he was on the field. So 1st down at the 35. Ezra Johnson down in fullback. And Lucas on the roll. And through the hands of Powell, and he was just smacked at the 22.
I think he's more upset that he didn't make the catch. Powell knows that ball was right there. He's going to be the best of the group. When you talk to the coaches, they say, hey, you can talk about Funderburk and Harper and all these guys, but this guy, Powell, 80, he's a redshirt freshman, but he should have had this one. This one hit him right in the 0 on his number, on his chest. You got to catch that ball with your hands or at least bring it in softly between your arm and your body. This guy let it get in, hit the chest plate of his shoulder pads and bounced off.
And Rob Clifford, the free safety, coming hard, though.
He had 7 catches last week, pal. I mean, he can play the game.
A lot of speed, too. 2nd and 10 at the 35, and Harper in motion. The give to Presley on the right side. To the 28, and dropped there by Darryl Porter. Cornerback out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So it'll bring up 3rd and about 3, and you see the Boilermakers with a lead over the Hoosiers.
You know, it's no secret Boston College is going to be looking for Battaglia everywhere. They know he's the key to this entire Rutgers offense. So it's interesting to see what Rutgers has done already with him. They play him at tight, they put him in motion, they split him out. Here he goes back to tight end now, to the backside of the formation.
Well, they give him the ball any way they can. You saw the play from last year and the underhanded flip from Lucas. Lucas pumps again on the run. Chased and driven out of bounds at the 29-yard line.
Ray Lucas, the ball carrier.
I want you to watch what happened to Battaglia that time. He was the intended receiver. Now watch, he gets down and tries to sit down in front of the linebackers. They actually grab him. Watch this. Here he comes. Here comes the pressure. Grab him up. Now Lucas is looking for him. Now Lucas says, I better scramble this way. Battaglia goes with him, but by that time, no shot. But I mean, they're coming up. They're grabbing him. They're doing everything they can to keep him away from the play.
And Rupert English, the man who was all over Battaglia, eventually ran Lucas out of bounds. So there's no question he's a marked man, but he has been all year long, and in fact the last couple of years. So it brings up 4th and about 4. And Doug Graber says go ahead and go for it.
Battaglia wide open.
Over the middle, the catch made by Reggie Funderburk, and he's got a first down at the 21-yard line.
You know, this is something else that they do very nicely. All right, you're talking about how they're keying on Battaglia. So this time they run him down deep through the zone of Boston College and then bring Funderburk underneath the linebacker and the safety. But I will tell you this, Battaglia was wide open that time, and they were using him as a decoy.
Reggie Funderburk, a junior out of Mitchellville, Maryland, and the number 2 receiver on this team. He's been in the top 3 in the Big East all year long.
DeMatha High School. Played for one of the best high school coaches in the country, Bill McGregor.
So first down at the 21. Here's Presley. Bounces off. Trying to turn the corner, and he can't get there. To the 25, and now a flag comes in late. Terrence Wiggins made the tackle.
All right, now we've shown you how Battaglia can run, how he can catch, how strong he is, and how agile he is. Now watch him block. This guy, of course, he's locking on right there under Giannakakis, and he's got his shoulder.
And watch the face mask at the end. And Wiggins is saying that he got him around the shoulder pads, but you see the hand on the face mask at least momentarily.
That still should be incidental. 5 yards.
5 yards from the previous spot. First down.
Buddy Ward and his crew today. So they move it 5, and then they'll bring it down to about the 16-yard line.
You know, you're talking about Funderburk and how he played high school at DeMatha. He also played basketball at DeMatha, one of the best high school basketball programs in the country, in the world. Played there for Morgan Wooten.
Morgan Wooten, yep.
And we both know very well.
Legendary high school coach. 2 receivers to the near side, and 1st and 5. Lucas is going to run. He's got a lot of room. Inside the 5, down to the goal line, and stopped at the 1. Rob Clifford finally stopped him. But you get a look at the other dimension of Ray Lucas.
Highly recruited in both basketball and football. He's 6'3", 205 pounds, runs a 4.4 40, and watch the escapability. This was a quarterback draw from the get-go, gets into the secondary, breaks 2 tackles. What a great asset that is when you have a quarterback that's mobile with a strong arm.
His numbers on the year in terms of rushing. And the Boston College coach is very concerned about his running ability. Gain of 15, so 1st and goal at the 1. Johnson up and stopped before he got in.
Ezra Johnson did not get in, but Lucas was back there. He put his arms up and started pleading with the officials. He's not only a good player, he's also a politician. Look right down the line. Watch Coleman and English come in and make the tackle. Here goes Johnson. Now the ball has to break the plane, not his helmet, not his shoulder pads, but the ball. It didn't, so they'll place it just inside the 1.
You've got Ezra Johnson and Bruce Presley working out of the eye now. Straight ahead is Lucas. And there's a flag on the play. No signal for a touchdown.
I would say somebody was in the neutral zone. I didn't see anybody move.
The flag is on the line of scrimmage on the far side of the football field.
Yeah, see the defense lined up in the neutral zone, and that's not unusual when you go to a goal line defense. You go to a goal line defense, you want to get your head as close to that ball as you possibly can. If you look down that line, looks like the backside, a couple of helmets are already even with the nose of that ball.
Looks like Kernan Spate may have had the helmet across the line.
Can't get those hats any closer.
Can't get the football any closer.
I'd come back with the same play. Just let Lucas bang it in.
They split the backs now. Lucas diving under this time, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown, Rutgers. first time today we hear the cannon. So Tim, an impressive drive after the return by Watson of the punt to get Boston College on the board. Rutgers takes the kick and drives down the field.
You know, Terry, I'm excited about this because you've got two great offenses. I mean, we talked about the poor records of both teams, both coaches on the hot seat. Both teams have been decimated by injury, but both explosive offensively, and that makes for good football.
Nick Mickemeyer comes on for the extra point. Famous father and uncle, of course, kicked in the NFL. Line drive kick, and it is good. So the extra point, the cannon goes off again, and we're all tied here in Rutgers. Here in Piscataway, New Jersey, and an impressive drive by Rutgers, just what they needed after the punt return by Kenyatta Watson.
Impressive drive because they did everything. They spread the defense, they threw underneath, they did a little dink and dunk, they ran the ball effectively.
Joe Kukowski and Kenyatta Watson at his own 7. With another seam. Across the 40 to the 43, there is a flag back at the 32-yard line.
And a Boston College player down, injured. These two teams have probably had more injuries combined than any other two teams in college football.
Well, you mentioned the field, too, and we had John Spagnola down on the field showing us how muddy it is and how much it's torn up. And you do get some injuries when that takes place.
Well, you do, but I will say this, that a soft field like this probably is better to play on than, say, a hard surface, specifically artificial surface, or a field that doesn't give way.
Holding on the return, 10 yards, first down.
Both these teams coming in, Terry, felt strongly that they couldn't turn the ball over and they couldn't.
Up, and he walked off to the sideline, so he is fine. And the quarterback for the Eagles, Mark Hartsell, had a terrific year last year, has been up and down all season. Look at his numbers last week against Syracuse, though, very good.
Yeah, he's starting to come on now. He's played well the last few weeks after a very rough start, and the coaches tell you the toughest thing about him was his inconsistency all year, early on specifically.
And they give straight ahead to Mike Cloud, the redshirt freshman out of Portsmouth, Rhode Island, for a couple of yards. And the Chili's starting lineups, Amari Walker in the backfield, the leading rusher for Boston College this year. And very young crew there, Tim.
Yeah, he's a sophomore. Walker is. He's had 3 straight 100-yard games. And then behind him, you've got another freshman in Cloud and another freshman in Anderson. So it is a young group.
2nd and 5 at the 28. And they give to Cloud again, and a first down across the 35 to the 37-yard line. So Mike Cloud getting the work early on. And the offensive line for the 5 starters from last year back and led by Pete Kendall.
This entire group is big. It averages almost 290 pounds. Kendall is another future NFL or all-conference guy. His dad, Pete, played for Rhode Island. Captain of the offense.
1st and 10 at the 36. And in motion is Pollack, the tight end. Cloud again the carry. Maybe 2 straight into the line. So the first 3 plays from scrimmage, all to Mike Cloud. And Sean Devlin made the tackle on that defensive line. Defensive front for Rutgers. Ryan Sheridan, the leading tackler on the team, but the vocal leader, Rasan Giddings.
Giddings is fun to watch. He's a senior. He's playing his last game today. The guy is very emotional, very vocal. Guy loves football. He's undersized and he's not a great player, but they say nobody plays harder than Giddings. Call him Rock.
Rock Giddings. Sounds like a football player. Sounds like a linebacker. Again in motion is Pollack on 2nd and 7. Hartsell straight drop. Over the middle to his tight end. Up to the 41-yard line. Scott Dragos, who was injured before the game, actually, in warm-ups.
Running this same pass pattern in warm-ups, and he ran into 2 other guys that were just standing around on the field during warm-ups. It was a little post pattern. They run it in the zone, they find the seam, and they find Dragos, who's got the first down, and they move the chains. Interesting what Boston College is doing offensively. They're going with 3 tight ends. The reason they're doing that is because Rutgers came out in a nickel. They're playing a lot of nickel and dime, nothing else. So they're just trying to power it and eventually throw it to a tight end down the middle.
So a gain of 21 on the pass to Dragos, and here's Cloud again. looking for room and up to the 36-yard line. Brian Sheridan, the leading tackler, made the stop. And a defensive backfield that's really been racked by injuries as well. Thomas Kelly, a 2-year starter, but well, they've been hurt throughout the year.
And this is another young group, and that's why Kelly, who's just a sophomore, he's very intelligent. He makes the calls. He spent time in the U.S. Military Academy prep school. You know, the Army lost a good one here, but he's very, very experienced, even though he's only a sophomore. So they need him there to solidify things.
So 2nd and 6 at the 37. Play action. Hartsell throws and drops. Michael Hemmert, another tight end, had it, would have had a first down, and he just coughed it up.
Hate to say this, but boy, were the coaches right. They say if you look at our tight ends, of course, Dragos and Pollack, those guys are good receivers, and Hemmert is a good blocker, but not the best receiver. They were right on here because that ball hit him between the 9 and the 1, and then he gets it in his hands, and it's like Play-Doh.
Now, normally you look at that, you say, well, he started to run before he caught the ball, but it was right there. I don't think he even did that.
Harry, look at the size of these guys, though. Hemmert is 6'3", 230 pounds, and he's just a sophomore. Teenagers.
Watson and King to the near side, but it's Everson with a catch. First down to the 22-yard line. So Boston College putting together a drive of their own.
Dan Henning, we told you, is an outstanding offensive coach. Of course, Dirk Cutter is the offensive coordinator. I mean, they go to 3 tights, they blast you, they run the tight ends, and now they spread you a little bit. Now they're going to go out on the quick sit down to Everson. Look, boom, just get it out there. Here comes your wide receiver. He's only 5'10", 162. Great changeup. You just get it out to him quickly and let him become the runner in an open field.
Same formation again. Everson wide to the far side. King and Watson to the near side. Hartsell, 3-step. Out he's got Brandon King. And another first down at the 11-yard line. So he goes to Everson for a first down, comes right back to the near side, and hits Brandon King.
See, it looks to me like Hartsell is already in rhythm. They got him in rhythm, high percentage short passes, and really they've got Rutgers now off balance. He's 3 for 4 passing, and Rutgers now, I mean, his players have their heads on swivel. They don't know where the ball's going to come from.
Brandon King, only a freshman. 28th catch, and you look at his grandfather. Yeah, you know who he is, Don King. Different dude. So first down at the 11. Pollack in motion again. And open in the end zone for a touchdown. Wide open.
How easy was that? You'd think they did not get Rutgers off balance. Used everything in the playbook that time against a nickel and a dime. Of course, the nickel's just 5 defensive backs. Dime, they come in with 6, take out some linebackers. So they powered them early in the drive. Then they come back and spread them, make them run a little bit when Rutgers adjusts, and they made it look easy.
And Pollack had been in motion throughout the whole drive. That's the first time they threw to him. They threw the Dragos. They used Hemmert, who dropped it. King, Everson, and Dan McGuire on for the extra point. And it is good. In a high-scoring game here at Rutgers, BC with a touchdown lead here in the first. Bouncing outside and down at the 42, knocked out of bounds. And let's check in with John Spagnola.
Hi, Terry. Starting center Pat Gorman is a senior. He was telling me about today's game. He said, you know, the coaches always tell you to play every play like it's your last. He said, I can't believe it. Today, it's finally true. This is my last time I'm going to be playing. He's going to try to imagine what it's going to be like on Saturday afternoons, not playing football anymore. But with a degree in economics, he plans to do an internship with a securities firm this spring because he finally won't have to worry about training for football. And he's going to wind up working probably on Wall Street when he gets out of college.
John, you know what's special about that is he was a walk-on originally.
Play action for Lucas, throwing, and he's got Powell, and a big gain inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line. And he hung on to that one. A gain of 19 as Bill Powell, the redshirt freshman out of Rockville, Maryland.
This is going to be a shootout. You know that? It's just going to be back and forth all day. 2 explosive offenses, not much defense. A little play action one way, come back on the waggle, drag Powell all the way across, And they just bring him under the linebackers, and finally Darryl Porter's there sitting in the zone. And it's right there, perfectly thrown. I like Lucas. Big, tall quarterback stands in there and throws a nice pass.
6'3", 205. And now to Presley, looking for room, cuts back, and it dropped at the 35-yard line. So a gain of about 4 on the play. Terrence Wiggins, the strong safety, made the stop. And other action on ABC, North Carolina with the early lead over NC State.
ACC action. Johnson with a 4-yard touchdown run. Carolina a little bit disappointing this year. I thought they got off to that slow start. Mac Brown thought he had a better ball club than that.
Still trying to get a win today and go to a bowl game, but yeah, you're right. West Virginia, a good year in the ACC in Florida State. Go to Battaglia, who loses the football at the 24-yard line and recovered by Rutgers. So they're very fortunate. Ezra Johnson was down there.
Very rarely did you see Battaglia put it on the ground, but this is one of those deals where with Johnson recovering, they pick up an extra 5 yards. So when things are going well, they're going well offensively. It's a club which has won 2 in a row now. They've won 3 of their last 4, and they've done it with offense. Here he comes, and he takes a hit after the second step. That probably jarred it loose. Then the ball just came loose just before he hit, but very wisely, Ezra Johnson grabs it, and they pick up 5 extra yards.
So they get a first down at the 24-yard line. And Rutgers moving it down the field. And I think you're right, Brandt. We may have a shootout on our hands. Battaglia goes to the far side to set. And Presley again. Bounces back inside the 20 into the 18. And there is a flag on the play. Bruce Presley getting a lot of work early on 2 years ago. Check this out. Down near the goal line. In the matchup between these two teams, watch the hit he delivers on Eric Shorter. Lose that helmet at the goal line.
Lose the helmet. I thought for a minute Eric's head was still in the hat.
Rutgers with the win that day, 31-21.
Well, you hate to see that.
Ouch.
On the offense, 10 yards, out of the foul. Replay, first down.
I think that holding was on our guy, Marco Battaglia, the All-American.
So they bring it back to the 33.
Watch him go outside. Battaglia now becomes a blocker. Boom, he hits, he releases. Now watch this. Just wrap him up with that left arm and hold on. Actually, it was not a bad block. I'm surprised they called it. As long as you stay within the shoulders, you can get up under those shoulder pads and stay there.
Yeah, you get a lot more than that throughout the game.
Yeah, normally they don't call that.
Backs him up to the 33, though, so it's 1st and 19. Lucas the throw. Over the middle, he's got Thunderberg. To the 26. And stopped there by Bobby Edmonds, who gets a start today. Tell you what, this is a linebacker backing core that has just been decimated. You talk about the top 3 linebackers on the team, the starting linebackers early in the year. They're all out. Jermaine Monk, a freshman, was in there playing, and he's injured with an ankle sprain. Matt Half was in there playing. He's out today.
So you bring in Bobby Edmonds, who just made that tackle. He was out all week with the flu.
Yep. Lucas doesn't like what he sees, and he's going to have to call a timeout.
Yeah, his own guys lined up incorrect.
So it's 2nd and 12 at the 26. Lucas back over the middle, complete to Harper. And down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. And don't forget, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be selecting a genuine Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed almost $5.5 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities.
Look at Dan Henning. I would not be surprised if Dan next year is with the Patriots as the offensive coordinator with Bill Parcells. Talking with some of my friends around the National Football League, they have heard that and they expect that.
Says he still enjoys the college game.
What a catch.
Vanderberg on his back makes the catch and enough for a first down.
You know, this guy is spectacular. I watched him in high school when he was at DeMatha. Saw him in the championship game against St. John's High School in Washington. It was a tie ball game until the last minute. He made a one-handed grab and took it the distance of the field to win the championship game. Here he's on his back. He catches this one-handed, gets the first down.
And has the presence of mind to celebrate a little bit.
Mitchellville, Maryland.
Yep. And so Rutgers moving the ball once again as the first quarter, and the Scarlet Knights on the move once again. 1st and 10, and the ball resting at the 13-yard line. Johnson and Presley in the backfield. And in motion goes Latour, the tight end. And here is Bruce Presley looking for a hole. And he's got one down to the 5-yard line. They need to get to the 2. They can't get another first down. Tackle made by John Coleman, who is starting today for Tim Morabito.
Boy, watch old 66 get out in front of this play. You were talking about Chris Kennedy. He's 295 pounds. He just cuts right off his backside. He didn't hit anybody, but he didn't have to. He was so big, he just blocked everybody away from the ball carrier, and boom.
Nice
Brings
block.
up 2nd and short, absolutely.
Nice block by Ezra Johnson, too, the fullback leading the way. And now he comes out. And it's Presley straight ahead. Bouncing down to the 3. And should be short of a first down by about a yard.
Watch Edmonds come up, the linebacker, number 41, comes up with just a pocket full of air. Whoop! Bam! Gone. Johnson just kind of slid by him. Boy, you hate that as a defensive player. Once you turn your helmet, cock your head, and get him out of your sight, then you're just grabbing at air.
They'll come out and measure right now, so they're closer than we first thought.
And you know, Terry, this is disheartening for the defense because you know now they've got 4 shots at scoring a touchdown inside the 3.
Yeah, they got the first down. So you got 1st and goal inside the 3. And you're right.
Hey,
as we check the score from Raleigh, NC State tying up the score with North Carolina. Terry Harvey, a 19-yard pass. Always a good one down at Tobacco Road. Big rivalry.
Of course, they now call NC State the house that Terry Gannon built.
Exactly. The basketball arena.
Can you believe this? It's going to be a penalty against Rutgers after they just moved it down inside the 3. Of course, injuries continue.
It's like Stephen Harper.
Wide receiver.
We have substitution infraction on the offense. 5 yards, still first down.
Well, you talk about hurting yourself. You got 1st and goal inside the 3, and you get the penalty to back you up. And back near the 8-yard line.
Now, what's the substitution infraction? I mean, he's got to either identify himself and tell him he's coming in the game. They had 12 men on the field. I mean, the play hadn't started yet. They have time to get it off.
I believe it was 12. 12 men on the field at that point. Lucas on the roll. Looking and throws it away. And he is down back to the 19-yard line. Words exchanged. You know, in a situation last week in the Temple game where he was flagged for unsportsmanlike, going back and forth with a couple of the players from Temple.
Watch Collinette, number 99, coming after Lucas. He fights off a couple of blocks. He's a big, tall guy at 6'7". He's hard to throw over. Takes him down after he throws. Now watch, they get up. Now, of course, Lucas had that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that you just mentioned. That could have cost him the game last week. It didn't. So if I'm on defense, I'm aware of that. I'll be talking to Lucas all day, hoping that maybe he'll do that again and we'll get a break.
So it's 2nd and goal from the 7. And Lucas to throw again. Wide open is Battaglia, and he dropped it. Take a good look at that. You won't see it very often.
Well, I just want to forget that. I mean, we've talked so greatly about Marco all day, and he is a terrific player, one of a kind. He's going to be a great pro, but I'll tell you this, you don't see this very often. This ball is perfectly thrown between 2 defenders. He runs the route, he separates, now he's open. Now watch, the ball comes between the 2 defenders. Marco lost concentration and dropped it. How unusual is that?
Never got the hands there, hit him right in the shoulder pads. So Lucas now 10 out of 14 for 74 yards. Should be 11 out of 14. Here's the draw again, and forget about it. He high steps to the end zone. No one near it. He ran it for 15 yards earlier in the game, and this time he goes 7 into the end zone.
Watch the middle of your screen, number 41. You have to be aware of the quarterback draw. Instead, he comes on the blitz to the outside. There is absolutely nobody left in the middle. Coming on the blitz, guess wrong. Come outside. Lucas goes inside. Bingo.
Is it officially a shootout yet, partner?
I think it will be all day.
McMyer on for the extra point. He missed a couple against West Virginia. And perfect, though, on the afternoon. So the cannon sounds once again. Rutgers with a long drive. And we are tied at 14. .52 yards. Took over 5 minutes off the clock to tie this one up. 14-14, 13-24 left in the first half. And Joe Krukowski will handle the duties for Rutgers. And another Pooch kick up at the 30-yard line. And a fair catch, and that's where BC will start. Second time we've seen that little sky kick. Well, the last weekend of the Big East, obviously, and Boston College, Rutgers in 5th and 6th places. But Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Miami, the teams who you talk about being eligible for bowl games and with winning records, at least 6 wins overall. 9-2 Virginia Tech, 8-2 Syracuse.
Certainly the bowl that they are really interested in is the Alliance. The top team will go to the Alliance, and Virginia Tech and Frank Beamer are hoping that'll be their ball club after some sensational wins, including one over Virginia.
There's White Cloud tripped up in the backfield and falls ahead, maybe getting to the line of scrimmage. Rudy Smith, the defensive end, was there first. And you look at what's taking place this week. Our game, of course, and Pitt and West Virginia at 4 o'clock. And then Saturday night, really the important one, besides some of the other action, Syracuse and Miami, because Syracuse, Miami, Virginia Tech, as we just saw, at the top of the list, and that dictates who will go to what bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. And with a win over Miami this weekend, Syracuse could have the identical record as Virginia Tech.
And there are the tie-ins, the Alliance, the Gator, Clemson going to the Gator from the ACC most likely, and the CarQuest Bowl as well. And we'll have more on that after this. A little screen to Mike Cloud. And a lot of room on the far sideline, across midfield, down to the 46-yard line. Boy, a hole opened up, and it didn't close until Peter Clark ran him down in Rutgers territory. A gain of 25 on the play.
Well, this is a well-designed play. First, look at the protection. Then they just go underneath with a little screen out of the middle. They cheat it over to the left side, and once he gets by here, there's nobody in front of him. So Clark took a proper pursuit angle and cut him off. Man with the speed there won, obviously. Clark had the better wheels.
Tim O'Brien, the center, cleared about 3 Scarlet Knights out on that play.
We haven't seen any defense on either side of the field yet.
None whatsoever. And yet Watson comes back to the near side. And they throw to Everson at the 40. Nifty move and down to the 36-yard line. And he's got another first down for Boston College. They continue to move the change. And here is this bowl picture once again. And you look at the top of the Big East with Tech, Syracuse, and Miami.
Virginia Tech, the highest ranked team there, 9-2. And of course, their big win over Virginia for them was like a bowl win. As a matter of fact, they'll tell you down there in Blacksburg that beating Virginia Tech, Virginia had beaten Florida State. So this team could play with anybody in the country.
And remember, it's not first, second, and third in the conference, but picks by the bowl. So they can choose their first choice, second choice, third choice. Cloud bowling his way across the 30 and down to the 29-yard line. And don't forget, tomorrow at noon Eastern on ABC's College Football, number 2 Ohio State tries to nail down the trip to the Rose Bowl as they go head-to-head with arch rival Michigan, or Florida State tackles number 3 Florida. And then at 3:30 Eastern, we bring you one of golf's most entertaining events, the Skins Game. Tom Watson, Fred Couples, Corey Pavin, and Peter Jacobson. That's all tomorrow on ABC Sports. Cloud, first down, inside the 20 to the 19. And you mentioned it a moment ago, neither defense has showed up yet. And boy, I'll tell you, it's apparent on every play. And let's take you down to John Spagnola.
Terry, one final point on the Big East. You know, the Alliance does have the pick of the Big East champions this year. The athletic directors met in Newark this week, and they're going to implement a tie-breaking system for next year, so they won't have this problem anymore in the Big East. Back upstairs to you.
You know, Spags, that's something that really should have been done before. They're going to look at overall record. They're going to look at rankings. They're going to look at the draw of the team as well this year. But you're right. Then they're going to have that decision maker for next year. They should have already had that.
Cloud down to the 16-yard line. He's getting all the work this afternoon for BC. Well, one of the problems, too, is you look at how many people each school will bring and how attractive they are and their alumni base and whatnot, and that certainly comes into play. Not just what takes place on the field.
Keep an eye on number 43. Now, Brian Sheridan's been playing with a pinched nerve. Look at him skate, played inside out, take on the blocker. Of course, he overran the play, but he did that by taking out number 71, Mark Norrie, which allowed the secondary to come up and make the stop. Good play.
Good afternoon for Mark Hartsell, too. 6 for 7, 92 yards and a touchdown. And here goes Mike Cloud straight ahead to the 13-yard line.
You know, one more time about Virginia Tech. I was talking with Frank Beamer last week, head coach at Tech, and I asked him if the Hokies, if they could actually, if he and his staff could win a national championship in Blacksburg. Because I thought that'd be difficult. I didn't even think it'd be possible. He says, yeah, absolutely. He says, you know, we've got 9 wins this year. We've got a good recruiting class. He says, I think we can win a national championship down here.
Well, what an improvement. You look at the last 5 years. Cloud with a good day so far, 40 yards heading into that carry. Inside the 10, close to another first down. Thomas Kelly made the stop. And Tim, I think he's right when you go back to Virginia Tech. I think the Big East Conference being in it, and of course Miami and Syracuse helps you out as a club there, as a conference. Similarly, Florida State helping out the ACC that way.
Yeah, I don't think, you know, when Miami came into the Big East, everybody said, well, they're going to run ripshot through this thing, and they did. But everybody else now has brought their level of play up, and have been able to recruit better because of that. And the Florida State, see, I think Virginia's win over FSU in the Atlantic Coast Conference is huge. It's great for the conference.
I agree with you, because you still have to say the conference has not risen to that level yet of Florida State.
Here's a guy that has really been under a lot of fire here. Doug Graber, in his 6th year at Rutgers, has yet to make a bowl game, and it's frustrating for him and everybody else involved, and they certainly have let him know about it.
4th and 1 coming up for the Eagles. And now flags before they can get to the line.
Rutgers has 12 guys on the field now. 12 guys. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 12 now. They had one guy come off. They had 13
they had 13 a moment ago, yeah.
See, that's the second time that's happened in the last 2 minutes.
Well, and what's surprising, too, is that you're late in the season. This is the last game of the year, and that's happened.
Yeah, and see, the Boo Birds are out again. They've been hard on Doug Graber and his team all year. There's sentiment here as well that they'll have a new coach next year.
Boy, and that is huge, too. It was 4th and 1 for Boston College. And now they try to get to the end zone with Cloud down to the 3, maybe inside the 3.
How do you make a mistake like that? John Gutekunst, the defensive coordinator, he's frustrated by this as well, but the coaches have to know that, and somebody on the field has to be counting too. Plus, if there's an extra man out there and he plays the defensive end, say, well, he's got a guy in front of him, the guy he plays behind.
You know, the only thing I can think of, Tim, is that they've gone to a lot of nickel and dime packages over the last few weeks, and down near the goal line, maybe switching up, going to a different package, still shouldn't happen. You're right.
4th and 1, you cannot make a mistake like that.
The give on the right side into the end zone, touchdown. Omari Walker. Mike Cloud had handled the duties throughout the afternoon, and now Omari Walker comes in and carries it to the end zone.
Well, once they got new life in the first down, then they're just going to power you. They pull the guard, they bring Norrie out, they bring their tight end around, Dragos 83. That's an easy gimme.
With a little help from the Rutgers defense. And McGuire on for the point after. Splits the uprights, and the scoring continues here at Rutgers. 8:50 left in the first half, and Walker takes BC to the end zone once again. They lead by a touchdown.
10 plays, 68 yards, 4.5 minutes, but the key play was 4th and 1. Too many men on the field, gave him a first.
8 rushes, 2 passes in that last scoring drive. Chad Bosch bringing back the kick and bouncing around. Stood up at the 26-yard line after some punishment. He's giving it right back. Bosch only 5'9", 175 pounds. Timmy, we talked about all the injuries for BC. John Spagnola has more on that down on the field. John?
That's right, Timmy. You documented all the injuries that have occurred to BC this year. Well, take a look at this. This is Reed Hoslin. He's the ball boy for BC, and even he has a broken ankle. You can see him on crutches there. He suffered that while playing for BC High School. So things are tough all over for Boston College on the injury front.
John, stay away. Get on the other sideline.
It's just as bad over there. They've had plenty of injuries themselves.
So first down at the 26. Presley looking for room back to the line of scrimmage. That's about it. Stolen calling it.
You know, they've had plenty of injuries on both sides. We talk about that. One of the guys in Rutgers that was injured that's not playing today is Mark Washington. Of course, he's got a shoulder injury, all conference safety. He's a vocal, spirited guy. He makes all the calls defensively. He also counts. And I guarantee you they wouldn't have had 12 men on the field had Mark Washington been playing today.
Well, it was definitely a penalty that cost him because it was 4th and 1 for BC, and it turned it into 1st and goal. Lucas on the roll, complete at the 38, should be a first down. That's Powell on the catch, and he was stopped about a yard. He's got more than he needed.
Yeah, he had plenty for the first down and knew it with his forward progress, so he didn't try to fight the tackler. What a game Powell is having. Billy Powell, 7 catches last week, having another big day here. He's got 3 this afternoon. Watch this, though. Lucas throwing off balance on the run. There's Powell. Just ran that hook. Frees himself up well and comes back to the ball. And look, he knows he got the first with his forward progress, so he figures, why fight it? Tackle made by Porter.
Yeah, Powell with 3 catches for 35 yards right now. And a first down as there's movement on the left side of the line. And we will see. Because, of course, the new rule this year, defense not allowed to be in the neutral zone and draw the offense across or draw movement. Simply movement.
It's against Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, early on it was Boston College which hurt itself with penalties. Now it's Rutgers.
5 yards, first down.
And don't forget, at halftime, we'll be naming the Burger King Scholar Athletes of the Week. That's at the half. So it's 1st and 15 now at the 33-yard line. And Lucas again to throw. Battaglia complete at the 38. So near the original line of scrimmage. And Marco Battaglia on the catch. Markel Blunt, sophomore, making the tackle.
Watch, this time Battaglia actually slips down. They're looking for him all the way. They went with 4 wideouts. They spread the field. Now look, he goes down. Lucas still wants to throw to him, so Battaglia pops up. Now Battaglia has lined up at tight end 17 times. He's lined up in the slot once. He's been a wide receiver 7 times, and he's been in motion twice.
And they've thrown to him 4 times on the afternoon. Well, it's 2nd and 9. You can see the field really getting chewed up now. Lucas scrambling and going down at the 35-yard line. The tackle made by Chris Sullivan, and we send you back down to John Spagnola on the field.
Okay, thanks, Terry. And with Mark Washington, the starting strong safety, has a dislocated shoulder, and he's out for the season. Mark, 2 penalties for too many men on the field. What's going on the defense?
We're having trouble changing our personnel, the different personnel for the game. They're changing a lot of their personnel from 1 tight ends to 3 tight ends, and we have to make adjustments defensively. The 2 penalties are as a result of the guys that we substituted didn't give the proper signals coming in, so we didn't know exactly what defense we ought to be in.
Situation substitution, a problem here today.
All right, Spags, 3rd and 14 over the middle to Presley, and he's got a first down for the Scarlet Knights, and much more. Knocked down at the 19-yard line. Darryl Porter finally brought him down, but a huge gain over the middle as they go to Bruce Presley.
Can you imagine 3rd down and long? and they run a play for 47 yards. Just another middle screen. See the umpire throw a block. Everybody else throws a block, and then just cut to the outside because he knew where he was going and the defenders didn't. On a sloppy field, he had the advantage. Again, speed cost him the touchdown, but what a great pickup of 47 yards by Presley just on the middle screen. How does the defense allow that to happen?
Well, the middle has been wide open this afternoon. It's something about this field, you know. Lucas with the quarterback draw twice, once for a touchdown. And Presley to the right side, wrapped up in the backfield. He's going to lose yardage.
And another flag down, Terry.
Rob Clifford made the tackle.
Hopefully this time they've got him for holding. In the neutral zone.
So Doug Graver's club losing a couple of yards on the play, but see if we can take a look.
Watch this. Boom.
Yep.
Right there before the snap. Got the early start. Trying to anticipate the count.
And don't forget, when we are finished here, we're not done with college football. #1 Nebraska hosts the Oklahoma Sooners. Great rivalry, a national showdown. That's all next on ABC Sports.
When's the last time you saw those two teams match up and have one team favored by almost 5 touchdowns?
It's incredible.
Had the chance to see Nebraska 2 weeks ago. Awfully strong.
To 33 points. Lucas on the roll. Complete to Harper.
Couldn't make the cut after he made the catch.
Up the field again and just short of first down. Well, you remember he was injured moments ago. They were carting him off. And so good news for Stephen Harper and Rutgers. He's back. And you see the reaction of Ray Lucas. Can't believe that he couldn't cut up the field.
Here's a track guy. He's 100, 200. Couldn't make the cut. Had absolutely nobody around him.
Fastest receiver on this team. Couldn't make the turn. 2nd and 1. Presley straight ahead. Hit in the backfield and fights his way. I believe he's got another first down, and we send you down quickly to John Spagnola.
Stephen Harper was taken off the field in a cart. They have an x-ray machine right off the football field here. They x-rayed his leg for contusion. The x-rays were negative, and he's back in there playing. So pretty nice to have facilities where you can get x-rays done on a timely basis and get a player back on the field.
Well, you know, John, this is the site of the old Rutgers Stadium, but almost 2 years ago, they built right on top of that. This is the new Rutgers Stadium, about 42,000 capacity, and you know, all the facilities that you could need in the 1990s. Presley looking for room inside the 5 and down to the 3-yard line.
You know, if you look at his numbers, Terry, he's one of the most prolific runners in Rutgers history. Got hurt in this game last year, suffered a severe groin injury, and it kept him out for a long time. But he's a hard-nosed runner. He's got excellent balance, leg drive, and agility. Not the best speed, but he scored 4 times this year. He's very versatile. He's 5'10", 215 pounds, maybe 220 now late in the season, but he is like a bowling ball.
41 yards on the day. The #3 all-time rusher for Rutgers. Terrell Willis, who's now backing him up, used to be the starter. He's the all-time leading rusher in Rutgers history. Play action, and he overthrows Battaglia. He had him at the goal line. Darrell Porter on the coverage, but he just overthrew him.
I think he tried to force this pass. There was no question. It was good coverage. He knows if he throws it a little bit short, it's going to be picked. He tries to go wide, and he overthrows him. Look at Battaglia. Locks on, tries to get away, can't get the separation. So they tried to use the height advantage Battaglia had. Battaglia is 6'3", the defender's 5'10". They tried to get it high, but it was too high.
Not an easy assignment for Darrell Porter, 5'9", 180 pounds, against 6'3", 240. 3rd down, Lucas on the roll to the end zone and broken up. Stephen Harper was there between defenders, and it was broken up. Now you hear the crowd yelling, "Go!" Shalom Tolfree broke it up.
Watch this pass. He's going now to Harper. Watch inside. Boom. Broken up at the last second. That was almost a touchdown. Wiggins got a hand on it. Here the Boo Birds come out. They wanted him to go for it on 4th down inside the 5. Instead, Mickmeyer comes on.
So it'll be a 20-yard attempt for Nick Mickemeyer. the sophomore out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
His uncle Steve was our kicker when I played at Maryland.
And he boots it up through the upright. So Mickemeyer puts Rutgers on the board once again and again with that cannon, huh? 21-17, 3:45 left in the first half. Our dinner last night lasted a little while, pal. 21-17 again. A short kick brought back across the 31 to about the 32-yard line.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is one of those holidays where you eat so much. Next day you feel like you could do 10 straight chin-ups and not touch the same chin twice.
You feel bad from eating, I'll tell you that. Next Saturday on ABC Sports, a college football triple header kicks off at high noon with the traditional Army-Navy showdown. Then at 3:30 Eastern, the final Southwestern Conference game ever. The Longhorns of Texas take on the Aggies of Texas A&M. And then at 7:30 it wraps up with Florida battling Arkansas in the SEC championship game presented by Dr. Pepper. That's live next Saturday here on ABC Sports. And Cloud, the ball is loose. Rutgers thinks they have it, and I believe they do. The Scarlet Knights recover, and a big turnover. 3:34 left in the first half. And these two teams have been trading touchdowns and field goals.
Yesterday, talking with offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter, he said one thing we can't do is turn the ball over. Watch if we have a chance to see it, because the ball was just stripped out wide. Watch this from the backside now. You'll see the handoff. Now, here goes Cloud. Boom. Gets to the outside. Now, watch. Has the ball in his left hand and just gets stripped out. Schwartz knocked it out. Rutgers recovers. That's a huge turnover for the Scarlet Knights.
So first down, they go to Presley, and he's wrapped up, dropped back at the 40-yard line. And let's take you back to the studio in New York at a North Carolina State update from John Saunders. John?
That's right, Terry, your alma mater in action. And take a look at the field. The reason it's brown, they've had a huge drought down there in North Carolina. Mike Thomas, though, hits pay dirt here. 28 yards to Octavius Barnes. 14-7 is the lead in the second quarter. Terry.
Yeah, thanks a lot, John. Mentioned that's my alma mater, and they go down 14-7, just like that.
You realize we've only had one punt in this game, and that was returned for a touchdown.
Yeah. Kenyatta Watson returned the first punt of the game back, the only punt of the game.
Every other possession, the teams have scored.
2nd and 15, Lucas, and dropped again by Marco Battaglia.
It's his second drop. He's had 2 overthrown. Everything else he's caught. He's got Blunt, the linebacker, on him. It's a match you'd want. They're both 6'3", but watch this. Boom, hits, rolls to the outside. Now he's open. Give him the ball. It's perfectly thrown, and he drops it.
Yeah, he dropped one in the end zone earlier in the game.
Keep in mind that time he was looking back into the sun.
3rd and 15.
You don't buy that.
At the 40-yard line for a first-team All-American. Lucas throws on the run. He catches it this time. Battaglia inside the 20. And with defenders on his back, down to the 8-yard line. A gain of 31 as Lucas threw on the run to his favorite target.
I want to show you an All-American. This is an All-American, folks. 106 Division 1A schools. He is the best tight end in the country out of all those schools. Boom. Slides one tackler. Watch this. Cuts back to the inside. Breaks another tackle. Carries 2 tacklers down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Outstanding player.
Bobby Edmonds went for a ride for about 10 yards.
A lot of scouts here from the National Football League, and they all seem to love him.
5 catches, 61 yards on the day for Battaglia. 1st and goal inside the 10. Presley, goodbye. Touchdown, Rutgers.
I'd go for 2. Rutgers is going to go for 1. Well, 2 wouldn't help you here too much.
It's 23-21 right now. Well, they've done it quickly, huh?
Tell you why I'd go for 2. You've got 2 minutes left in the half. If you make it, now you're more than a field goal lead. This will keep you within a field goal. The way things are going, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is. You got 2 pitchers on the mound and giving up a lot of runs. So Mickemeyer on for the extra point. And through the uprights. Here it comes once again. Oh, yeah. Buchanan getting a lot of work early on today.
Presley, a senior, he was the high school player of the year in this state. When he signed with Rutgers, he had the chicken pox, and he said, Coach, from here on, it gets better every day.
Another touchdown, more on the board, 24-21 Rutgers. And we take you up to New York. Check in with John Saunders again. And Joe Kukowski getting set. Kick off to Brandon King. And Purdue rolling over the Hoosiers. Oh, he had some sky kicks, pooch kicks, and now a little squibbler. And down at the 30-yard line, Rupert English on that return. And very quickly, we go back up to John Saunders in New York. John?
Terry, from the Big Ten, Purdue and Indiana. Rick Trevsger, 10-yard pass here to Brian Alford. He had a 7-yard touchdown hookup with Alford as well. And right now, Purdue is blowing out Indiana 24-0. Terry.
All right, John, so the Boilermakers rolling right now in the Big Ten against Indiana. Here, 1st and 10 at the 31. Hartsell back to throw. Under pressure. And he wanted to set up the screen to Mike Cloud and couldn't get it there. You don't forget, coming up on the Prudential halftime report, John Saunders will have scores and highlights, plus a look at the Heisman Trophy candidates and a complete rundown on all of the bowl games this year. That's with John at the half.
It's going to be a personal foul against Boston College. Kenyatta Watson, actually, yeah, it's going to be a face mask. Kenyatta Watson came in with a late hit. There was also a face mask penalty at the end of the play.
Keep it in the game. Keep it in the game.
So penalties have hurt Rutgers to this point. Now BC joining in the fun.
Personal foul, face mask on the offense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. 2nd down.
You know, it's just been one of those years for Boston College. Mark Hartsell with such a good year last year. And with all the injuries this year, the changes at wide receiver, some of those players out. Now, it's just been an up and down year. And you look at Watson. Oh, there's the face mask. There's no doubt about it. So it's 2nd and 25. Cloud still up. Now down at the 29-yard line. Boy, he's a tough runner, isn't he?
Really is. You know, you talk about the year Hartzell's had at quarterback. Remember last year he threw 3 touchdowns against Michigan. Came back, had a huge game against Notre Dame. They beat Notre Dame last year. So we're coming into this year. They said, hey, this guy sat behind Glenn Foley. They say he's going to be better than Glenn Foley. Had those big games against Michigan and Notre Dame. They thought this year was going to be his year. But he didn't have the supporting cast and the injuries, and he was never really had his confidence, never got his consistency.
3rd and 17 now as Hartsell rolls, fires, and complete at the 36-yard line. Dennis Harding on the catch, but that's short of a first down. They got to get to the 41-yard line for a first down. And now Rutgers takes a timeout with 1:22 left here in the first half.
But they only have 11 on the field now, so they're going to get it back.
Reggie Funderburk back, awaiting the punt of Jason Malecki. Funderburk standing at his own 24-yard line. Off the side of his foot, this is a short punt. And it takes a Rutgers bounce, comes back to the 39-yard line. A punt of only 24 yards by Jason Malecki. And now good field position. A chance maybe for the Scarlet Knights, Timmy, to get another score before the half.
Great field position. You still have 1:14 to go. You have 1 timeout remaining, so there's no reason to hurry. You've got to be conscious of the clock. You have to use the sidelines. You have to get everybody in and out of the huddle quickly, and sometimes go without a huddle. But they have plenty of time to move the ball down and get it into field goal range. Lucas over the middle, has it complete to the 31-yard line. That ball was thrown well. And Powell has another catch and a first down for Rutgers. Hey. 1:09. The clock starts to move again as Terry gets another microphone. Inside handoff to Bosch, and he's down to the 30. Under a minute to play in the first half.
And I am back, I do believe.
Thank you.
There you go. Nice job. You've done this before. So you got 2nd and about 8 at the 31. Out of the shotgun is Lucas again. A lot of room to run. Trying to get to the sideline, though. And run out of bounds at the 24-yard line. So 36 seconds now on the clock. And Doug Graber trying to find a way to get to the end zone. He leads by 3 here at the end of the first half.
But a good drive. They've used the clock well. Lucas is in complete control.
You've got 3rd and 1 here, Tim. Bosch the only back in the backfield. And they give it to him to get the first down, and he drives straight ahead. And he's got a first down. So the clock stops. The crowd booing a little bit, but the clock stops with the first down.
But he's got to get him up to the line, because as soon as the official puts it in play, the clock's going to start to move again. Either has to have a play called or use a clock play and just throw it to the ground. I believe he's got one called.
Under pressure. Out of the pocket. And complete to Powell, run out of bounds at the 16-yard line.
I can't believe Darryl Porter, the cornerback, almost carried him out and stopped the clock. He should have kept him in bounds.
And
watch
Lucas.
this. Watch this now. Powell goes, and Powell also just kind of stops, booms. There it is. He's open. Here comes the pass. Now watch 44 in the white jersey after the catch. Okay, here comes Porter, and he rides him out of bounds. Actually throws him out of bounds instead of trying to keep him in. Let that clock roll.
Yeah, Powell was trying to get out of bounds. He helped him. So 2nd and 6 at the 17. More importantly, 21 seconds left here in the first. And here they come. Under the blitz.
Throw it away.
That's exactly what he did. Funderburk, maybe the nearest receiver, but Terrence Wiggins came on the blitz, the strong safety, and Lucas got rid of it. So it's 3rd and 6 with 15 seconds left. Have about a 34-yard field goal at this point for Nick Mickemeyer.
Still have one timeout left. Really conceivably could get 2 plays out of this before you have to attempt the field goal.
On 3rd down, Lucas running and incomplete, out of bounds. The intended receiver was Bill Powell, and he dropped it anyway.
Unless that'll bring it down to 9 seconds, so get the field goal unit on. Again, Lucas' escapability makes the move and buys some time and gets outside.
His mobility, certainly one of the things Boston College was concerned about. So it's 4th and 6. Nick Mickemeyer comes on to attempt a 34-yard field goal with 9 seconds left here in the first half. Long enough, but wide to the right. Well right. So Mickemeyer misses the 34-yard attempt. Well, he's got the bloodlines, huh?
So look at Nick, his dad. His dad played in the National Football League, spent some time with Atlanta, spent time in Buffalo. And his uncle, Steve Mickemeyer, for a long time was the record holder down at the University of Maryland, played with me in the 70s. And he, too, spent some time in the National Football League.
And Nick Jr. said after the West Virginia game, when he missed a couple of extra points, got on the phone with his father, and he's really helped them out. Not as much just with the kicking and the methods and all the expertise that he could lend, but also just, you know, tell him, hey, everybody misses. The greatest have missed extra points, and you go on, you find from there. He was thinking at that point it might be his last kick as a college football player. 5 seconds left here in the first as BC takes over, and Hartsell gives to Mike Cloud, who runs up to the 27-yard line and
the receivers. Consequently, Rutgers and Lucas have been able to hit 5 receivers this afternoon. Powell, for instance, has 5 catches for 66 yards, same as Battaglia, who has 5 for 61. So, you know, it's not shown in the statistics, but Battaglia opens up the field for everybody else. The thing that's been most impressive to me is the lack of defense. I mean, we've only had 1 punt all day, and that was returned for a touchdown.
Joe Kukowski with the second half kickoff, and Kenyatta Watson, who ran that punt back for a touchdown, brings this one back. Still on his feet, fighting, and finally brought down at the 24-yard line. He wouldn't go down. Peter Clark, defensive back for Rutgers, made the tackle. And so BC takes over at just outside the 24-yard line. In the first half, as you mentioned a moment ago, defense was non-existent. Really, penalties hurt Rutgers as much as anything in terms of allowing BC to get to the end zone one time and backing the Rutgers offense up when they had 2nd and goal at the 2. And so it's first down at the 25-yard line. And Pollack in motion as Hartsell goes to Cloud with a big hole over the 30 up to the 32-yard line, but there's a flag back at the 23.
I think this is going to be holding against Boston College. You know, Hartsell as a quarterback, I think, is better when he doesn't have to play catch up, when the whole thing is going. You look at these possessions, touchdown, touchdown. They did fumble that one time, which was uncharacteristic, and the 1 punt, but that was it. Of course, last week he had to play catch up, Mark Hartsell did. Playing catch up, he threw 50 passes, completed 22 of those for 2 touchdowns, scrambling all day, and he's not as good when he has to come from behind.
Well, with all the injuries this year and the changes, you know, with the people he's throwing to, you look at last year where he had 13 touchdowns and 10 interceptions on the year. This year, 8 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and that certainly has had something to do with it, but also he's been a bit inconsistent for Dan Henning. And Henning, with all those years experience in the NFL, and we'll touch on it again, Timmy thinks he may be heading back. It's 1st and 22 now at the 13. Cloud bouncing inside and may have gained 1. That's about it. Rudy Smith was there in a hurry.
I think whatever Dan Henning wants to do is what he will do. I think it's going to be his choice at Boston College. I don't think they're going to make him leave. He's got a 5-year contract. This is only the 2nd year, and everybody knows what took place. But if you look at his resume, you look at his track record, it's a guy that stays on the move, and most of the time he's been in the National Football League rather than chasing 18-year-olds and recruiting and doing all those little things. Although he does make the point that in the pros, of course, once he, you know, Lomas Brown, a lineman for the Detroit Lions, he made enough money that could pay for all 85 scholarships at Boston College. And when that happened, you know, those guys are tough to coach when they're making that much money.
Different motivation, no doubt about it. Complete and dropped. After the completion, we'll see how they rule it.
We touched on it earlier about Dan Henning, that there was a report that Bill Parcells, who's a good friend, wants him to come back and be the offensive coordinator for the Patriots.
Brandon King made the catch, got it back here. Norris Crawford, strong safety, made the hit. Watch.
Here's King, takes a pretty good lick here. He went to his knees, but see, the ball gets away. He gets it back in. Here's a guy who averages 12 yards every time he touches the ball. He's a true freshman. He's got 29 receptions on the year now, had 4 against Syracuse. Very quiet, but very quick individual from McDonald, Pennsylvania.
Hard to do on a day like today, though. This field is awfully chewed up. So 3rd and 7 as Hartsell goes back. A lot of time. And over the middle, caught for a first down. Steve Everson with the catch up to the 36-yard line.
You know, Mike Sandy has great coverage on this. He's got to get up shaking his head because this ball is perfectly thrown. Here it is from the end zone. Look behind Hartsell. He's looking, looks at his tight end, goes through the progression, now comes back. Look at Sandy's right on his back. The ball is perfectly thrown for the completion.
And Everson knew where the first down marker was. He gets 8 on the catch. They needed 7. That's a heck of a throw. Pollack in motion to the near side again. And off play action is Hartsell. Looking deep. Had a man for a moment, but it took him too long to get the ball there. Dennis Harding was there. He had a step on the defender. Mike Sandy on the coverage.
I like Sandy. He's a redshirt freshman. He was All-State in Florida, a running back, ran for over 2,700 yards, but now he's playing defensive back at Rutgers, and that's 2 plays in a row he's had good coverage.
A couple interceptions this year. Very young defensive backfield. A couple of sophomores, redshirt freshman, junior in there. Hartsell to Cloud. Trying to get through that gap, and he does, up to the 45-yard line. They'll bring up 3rd and about 3 yards. Well, tomorrow night, catch the Jeff Foxworthy show on ABC. Then maybe this time. And What About Bob? Your primetime lineup on ABC tomorrow night. Third down and 2. Hartsell to Cloud again. He's gotten a lot of work this afternoon. He gets ahead for the first down again. Boy, Mike Cloud had 113 yards against Syracuse last week. His career high. He's only a redshirt freshman, but getting the bulk of the work this afternoon. Amari Walker, normally the starting running back and the leading rusher on this team. Saw him carry for a touchdown earlier, but that's been about it.
You know, Cloud's 113 yards that you talked about came on 10 carries, too. Coaches say he gets better every week. He's got 4.4 speed. He's already had 2 games over 100 yards.
Hartsell with the straight drop on first down. Throws it out, complete. Harding still up and knocked down at the 33. How about the effort from Dennis Harding, the redshirt freshman out of Baltimore? And a gain of 17 on the play.
Look at Hartsell, just had a chance to stand in the pocket. You know, Gettings came on a blitz and didn't come hard, actually stopped. And then when he saw that Hartsell was still in the pocket, then started to chase him again. Never did get into the play. This is great effort at the end of this play. Watch this. Harding, who's now playing. We have not seen Kenyatta Watson in wide receiver this half. We've seen King, we've seen Everson, and we've seen Harding. And Harding with a great effort on that play.
Yeah, Watson shouldn't be injured. He ran back to kickoff, but we haven't seen him yet. Harding, and this time off his hands. He was open at the 20-yard line. Aaron Brady that was there on the coverage. That's a ball he should have put away, though.
It's a lack of concentration. I mean, he goes up, the ball is certainly catchable. And he's already starting to turn his head. You can see his head move to not only locate the defenders, but make his location on the field to find out exactly where he was and how close he was to the sideline. But he's got to bring that ball in all the way and tuck it away before he makes those adjustments.
Now, even with that last drop, Mark Hartsell, fine afternoon. 10 of 14 for 142 yards and a touchdown.
His career day. He's got 32 receptions now in the year.
Second down. Cloud again. Bust through. Inside the 20 to the 19, and another BC first down. Well, we picked up right where we left off in the first half.
This is amazing to me. There is no defensive stop yet in this game. There was one to start the game. That punt returned for a touchdown. And then here we go. He now has 18 carries for 95 yards. Brzezinski got a good block, and then the rest is just Cloud, the redshirt freshman out of Portsmouth, Rhode Island. He's averaging 8 yards a carry.
They lay it down at the 19. First down, Pollack in motion again to the far side. And they throw it to Harding at the 12. Looks for room and dropped where he made the catch. Peter Clark on the coverage and the stop along with Brian Sheridan.
I'd say Harding now has become the favorite receiver of Hartsell. That's 11 now for him.
Came into the game with 22 catches on the year, but only the 4th leading receiver on this team.
Rutgers is playing soft on the corners. They're also mixing some zone and some combination defenses in there. They've got to come up now, and they've got to lock on. They're playing too far off the wideouts.
Second down and 2. Cloud comes back across the 10 down to maybe the 8-yard line, and maybe has another first down.
Yeah, I think he's got enough for the first. That'll give first and goal. When that happens, that just puts even more pressure on the defense that hadn't been able to stop them.
It's almost redundant to say that at this point. I mean, both sides of the field.
Here's my theory, though. If you're sitting in a base defense and they're moving on you like that and you're not able to stop them, you've got to start taking some chances. You got to mix some things up. Just go ahead and go after them.
Well, neither defense has been able to stop the other's offense today. So it's first and goal at the 8-yard line for BC. Hartsell. A lot of time again. And some room to run now. And puts it down and is knocked down at the 7-yard line. Hassan Giddings hit him there.
I mean, Rock Giddings stoned him. Again, Hartsell had all kinds of play and all kinds of time. Look at the room he has now once he decides to tuck it away and run. And Giddings with the late. I mean, this is perfect. Boom, on the way down.
Maybe going down a little bit earlier next time.
Well, or slide feet first.
Yeah, exactly. No reason to take that punishment. A gain of 1 on that play, so it's second and goal at the 7-yard line. Cloud, the lone setback. He gets the call. Bounces off, bounces inside and down to the 2. Right, there haven't been many times when Mike Cloud has been taken down by the first tackler today.
Rutgers was mixing up its defense. That time they were in a zone, in a dime package at 6 defensive backs. Peter Clark, number 5, came off the corner on a little stunt. And that's exactly where the ball came. They went right at him and kicked him out.
Mike Cloud's got 103 yards. He's over the 100 mark. This long drive by Boston College.
That's 4 straight 100-yard games for Cloud.
Hartsell wants 7 minutes off the clock, but a key 3rd down play here. 3rd and goal from the 2. Amari Walker in for Cloud now. And to throw to the end zone, touchdown. Rob Tardio, a backup tight end, with the catch in the end zone as he comes in as they change their alignment.
Another one of those freshmen, Terry. Redshirt freshman Tardio is. And another one of those big tight ends, 6'5", 221. Looked like there was confusion on the defense. Watch 43 if you can in the screen. Brian Sheridan just kind of got hesitated and got caught in between. I'm not so sure he wasn't supposed to take Tardio. He ended up finally going after the quarterback because he had already committed.
There was no one around Tardio. Wide open in the back of the end zone. And Dan McGuire's extra point, and we've got more points on the scoreboard. It's been going like that all afternoon. Hasn't happened yet. Terrell Willis back deep for Rutgers. And another sky kick from Boston College, taken at the 28-yard line. And fighting up to the 38-yard line is Robert Seeger, the backup fullback. Some tough going there. And let's send you back down for another senior update on Senior Day from John Spagnola.
Okay, Terry, thanks. Let's talk about Rob Clifford. He's a free safety here. He has 5 interceptions for BC this year. And he said, football taught me as much about any class that I've ever taken. He said, you have to be self-motivated to accomplish things in football, work those long hours in the offseason when the coach isn't around you. He's right now in the MBA program at BC, and he wants to get into business afterwards. And with that attitude, he'll go a long way.
Absolutely. Good 1st and 10. Bruce Presley, a big hole off the left side. Inside the 40 of BC, down to the 36-yard line. A bruising running back. Bruce Presley, 5'10", 215 pounds. And a gain of 26.
Sounds like they're booing him. They're yelling Bruce. Again, we tell you he was the New Jersey High School Player of the Year. He's had a marvelous career here. 547 yards this year. He came into this game, and he is just a bowling ball. 5'10", 215 pounds. He's got great vision, too. And watch the line now. They pull the guard, and they get him out in front. See McKiernan, 54, get out there, threw some pretty key blocks, and he slipped through that hole. Tried to get a block out of Powell, and then broke it up for the big gainer.
70 yards on 14 carries now for Presley. Here he is again, another big hole. Boy, that left side of the line opening up huge holes. Down to the 17.
Talking to the coaches Wednesday night here on campus, they were saying Bruce Presley is the best athlete on the team. He's very, very versatile. He can do a lot for us. He missed spring drills because he was nicked up. He's back solid now, and in his senior game, his final game here at Rutgers, he's playing big time. This was a huge hole, and again, 54. Jack McKiernan cleared it out along with Matt Brown and Pat Gorman. Offensive line doing a good job for Presley, the senior.
Gain of 18. What'd you say? The first defense that stops wins? Hadn't happened yet. Presley this time stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, see, I think the coaches are going to have to get together and say, all right, here's the deal. We're just going back and forth. Now the rules change. It's straight ahead, no fair dodge, and first defense to make a stop wins.
Now, Nick Giannakakis, a junior out of Lyons, Illinois, made the stop on Presley that time. And the Tar Heels with the lead over the Wolfpack in the third. And the Boilermakers up big in the third over the Hoosiers. 2nd and 10 at the 18 as Lucas drops back in the shotgun and a whole lot of movement on the right side. Take your pick here.
I can tell you Chris Kennedy guard was going to pull. Big old number 66 was wheeling out of there. He was like a swinging gate. Watch the top of your screen. He's the second one in. There he goes. Big old 66 pulls out and starts to ramble.
Second down.
And Presley went with him. Chris Kennedy, a preseason all Big East selection.
He's a technique guy. You know, he's not one of these guys. He's 290 pounds, but very fundamentally sound, very technique oriented.
Ezra Johnson now in at fullback. On the roll, Lucas throwing it on the run, underthrown and incomplete. There was double coverage down there in the end zone. The intended receiver, Bill Powell, and Terrence Wiggins created some contact. The crowd wanted interference.
Yeah, you watch 49. 49 never locates the ball. He does locate Powell, and he hits him before he actually looks back. It's after the contact that Wiggins looks back for the ball. By that time, the ball was in the air. There should have been a flag thrown, pass interference. Look at Lucas. Lucas almost hurts himself trying to get to the official. Lost his footing, saying, hey, wait a minute, where's the flag? Throw the flag.
You know, and Wiggins came up shaking his head in his arms. You just look guilty at that point. You know they're looking for the flag. Jonathan Gibbs now in at a wideout spot along with Stephen Harper. Lucas throws it at the feet of Harper, just threw that one away. They had something that they wanted to develop along the near sideline. It never did. So for one of the first times this afternoon, a defense does hold. And that drive at least slowed down now at the 23-yard line. And Nick Mickemeyer will come on for a field goal try just outside the 30-yard line. So it'll be at about a 40-yard attempt.
He's got the leg strength. He was wide right last time. He hit that one fast.
And wide right and the line drive. Yep, that's a 9-iron that got too much ground in back of the ball. 6:08 remaining in the third, and BC is still on top.
Just has never come back. And even talking to the coaches the other day from Rutgers, they're saying, oh man, our field is terrible right now. You know, it's just so chopped up and soft and muddy.
So 2nd down and 9. Watson in motion, play action. Looking deep and broken up. Kenyatta Watson was there at midfield, but it was broken up by Charles Wiley, the freshman out of Hyattsville, Maryland. And another one of those DeMatha products.
Boy, he read this. He was playing inside, had help from the safety deep, playing inside out, played underneath and made the nice contact.
John Spagnola, what do you have?
Well, a quick update on the kicking situation after those misses by Nick Mickemeyer. Joe Kukowski will be kicking the next field goal attempt for Rutgers.
So they make the move, John, after the misses. And it happened a couple of weeks ago as well. Mickemeyer thought he'd be removed. Complete out at the 40-yard line. This time to Dennis Harding. Another big catch for him and another first down.
Harding again. He's become the favorite receiver, and I want to tell you, he makes a nice adjustment on this ball. He went and he hooked and slid outside. You see him, and look, now check, you only need 1 foot in. He got both in and stepped out of bounds. Big league play. Good separation from the defender.
Gain of 15 on the play, so it moves it up to the 39-yard line. Pollack in motion again. Plowed the carry. Stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. May have gotten to the 40-yard line. Rasan Giddings, the outside linebacker, came up to make the first contact. Well, 5:04 and counting left in the third here. Don't forget, coming up next, though, #1 Nebraska takes on the Oklahoma Sooners as they try to remain #1. That's next here on ABC.
Tom Osborne trying to do what only 3 other living coaches have ever done, and that's win back-to-back national championships.
In the driver's seat right now. Play action for Hartsell. Looking up top for Everson, just off his fingertip. And he may have lost his footing right at the end, too. Norris Crawford was there on the coverage.
Looks like he got his own foot tangled up.
Yeah, he did.
He hit his right foot off his left heel, then misjumped.
Yeah, didn't really slip. You're right. He just got it caught with the other foot.
Yeah, just watch his feet. Take another look at this. Now, the ball is a little bit high, but he trips himself up. His right foot hits his left heel, and he just stumbled over it. Got a quiz for you a little bit later. I'm going to ask you who those other 2 coaches are that won back-to-back national championships.
BC 5 of 7 on third down. Now they have a 3rd and 8. Over the middle, broken up.
Oh,
nice play by Mike Sandy.
I'm telling you, that kid is playing some great corner. Every time we've seen him, we've isolated on him, we've watched him closely. He's had outstanding coverage. He is a hard-nosed, big-hitting freshman DB. Watch the way he comes. He's got inside-out leverage. Then he puts the right hand on the back, the left hand to knock the ball away. That is perfect. Feel him, feel him. Now watch. Play him to the inside and knock the ball down. Nicely done.
They hold on 3rd down, and we've had 2 stands in a row. One by BC and one by Rutgers now. And the punt down to Funderburk. No fair catch, and now he stiff arms the defender. And driven back to the 24-yard line. 34-yard punt and no return. CFA College Football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road, and Dean Witter. There are many reasons to measure success and ways. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. Now the leaves have already turned.
All right,
and
sir.
It's gotten much colder.
We said Nebraska was going for a back-to-back championships. I understand you are. Do you know 2 other living coaches that have won back-to-back titles?
All right, we throw that question out there. 1st and 10 at the 25. And Presley across the 30 up to the 32-yard line. Go ahead and give the answer.
Well, I can tell you, you know, some guys that aren't here any longer. Bear Bryant, of course, has passed away, and Bud Wilkinson. But those living, Barry Switzer did it, and Bob Devaney did it at Nebraska.
Bob Devaney. What were the years on it?
Well, the years are easy. I mean, you got to think back when Bob Devaney.
You can't look it up.
Huh?
That doesn't count.
What are you talking about?
I would have had it if I could look it up.
Bob Devaney, of course, in 1970 and 71, and Barry did it in 74 and 75.
2nd and 6. Marco Battaglia with a catch up to the 39-yard line and a first down for Rutgers. Donovan Yarbo on the coverage and the tackle.
Well, you can't get enough of this guy. Watch him. He's the best tight end in America. First team All-American. Again, he comes up to the linebacker, spins, separates, and the ball's waiting for him. That is perfectly done. You know, talking to the pro scouts, and they say he runs like a wide receiver, which he does. He's got that speed, and blocks like a guard. But, you know, separating from defenders is something that is just a skill taught, and he has taught himself well.
On the roll, here comes Marco again at you. Still up. And now down at the 44, maybe the 45-yard line. Terrence Wiggins, a strong safety, made the stop. And this time they roll him to the near side, Tim. They come at him. A lot of different looks from Marco Battaglia.
And they've had somebody on his nose all day, so he gets rid of him, then slides to the outside just underneath the coverage. This time they're in a zone. They're playing him soft, so he does not go deep. He just stays underneath and waits for the football there.
7 catches for 76 yards now for Marco Battaglia.
His dad's got a pizzeria. Did you know that? 179th and Midland in Queens.
Presley to the outside. He turns the corner. And up to the 45-yard line of BC, and another first down. So they move the chains once again. And the 2 main weapons, Bruce Presley and Marco Battaglia.
We've talked about Presley and how the coaches say he's the best athlete on the team. He's strong. He's hard-nosed. And we said, well, he doesn't have breakaway speed, great speed. But I'm taking it back now. I think he's got tremendous quicks. Once he gets around that corner, too, he explodes.
Which today on this field is not easy.
No, it's not. You know, your shoes get heavy. The turf is soft. You don't have great footing. It's like running in the sand.
First down at the 45. Here come BC. Long pass up for Powell and out of bounds. And Ray Lucas paid for it. Tim Morabito got there just as he released it.
Watch Lucas after he gets rid of this ball. They come with a little game up front. He gets tagged. Tim Morabito, it's good to see him back in the ball game. He's the guy that made the tackle. He's the captain of the defense. Didn't start today. He's got a sore right knee. They didn't know if he was going to play at all. But he's in the game now.
Looks good. He was really questionable, yeah. Second down, the inside give to Presley. Fighting his way down to the 42-yard line. Nick Giannakakis was there to make the stop. All right, who was the great running back who played for Devaney in 70-71? And they did that.
Who, Rogers?
Johnny Rogers. You're right on it, partner.
I had to go back in time now. Oh, Carolina going big now over the Wolfpack.
Leon Johnson with a couple of touchdown runs. Third down and 7. Lucas. What a speed to get outside, and now throws back and complete to Powell.
He's got a gun.
Boy, I'll tell you, he was on the dead run, threw it back to Powell at the 32 for another first down. That is not easy to do.
No, well, first of all, watch Powell. He's got good speed. They come underneath him. Now he just sits down, squats, and now on the hook goes down to his knees to make the catch. But the thing that was impressive to me was Lucas. You know, on the rollout, you got to square up the throw with power. He doesn't. He throws off balance, and look, he still throws a bullet.
And Bill Powell now with 6 catches on the afternoon. Presley, a big hole on the right side and a big gain, and he falls down at the 16-yard line. May have gotten 3 or 4 more had he stayed up.
Yeah, he's a little bit frustrated with himself because he did. He was contemplating which way to go and which move to make. He's shaking his head now. But while he was doing that in the indecision, he actually stumbled.
He gained 17 yards in the play, and I'll tell you what, he had a hole on the right side that you or I could have run through.
Don't go too far now, partner. He comes out. Chad Bosch comes in.
Bosch, the junior college transfer, junior college All-American. Only 5'9", 175 pounds. And he gets the call on the right side. Gain of about 3, and now a late flag comes in. A late hit or a face mask maybe.
Bosch is a good changeup for Presley. He's a different kind of back. He's very shifty, durable. This will be against Boston College. He's a transfer from junior college, was in Nassau Junior College.
By Donovan Yarbo.
Face mask on the defense. 5 yards from the end of the run.
Donovan Yarbo made the tackle, but the face mask at the end of the play, and Henning not at all pleased with that. It moves it down to the 6-yard line.
Terry, were you surprised talking to the Rutgers coaches? You know, Presley and Willis, both those guys are assaulting the record books as running backs here at Rutgers, and yet when we talked to the coaches, they said Chad Bosch, the transfer, the junior college transfer, is just as good as those two and could be better eventually.
Well, especially given the size. I mean, with Willis and Presley, you've got 2 backs that go over 200 pounds. Bosch only 175 pounds.
He was listed at 5'9", and we said that to the coaches. They said he's 5'6".
Got some speed though. Yarbrough out of the game right now on the sideline, and so is Chad Bosch. Bruce Presley comes back in the backfield for Rutgers.
See if they come to the wide side of the field and look for 81 Battaglia.
First and goal from the 6. Presley fighting his way down to the goal line, and the ball's loose.
Touchback or touchdown? It's a touchdown.
Touchdown.
They say broke the plane before he fumbled.
They took a while to make the call, but they do. And it's a touchdown Rutgers, and maybe a break for the Scarlet Knights.
Well, I thought we had our first defensive stop. He reached out to put the ball and break the plane, but let's see if it's still in his possession when he does that. That ball's loose before it crosses the goal line. It should have been a touchback, Boston College ball at the 20. Instead, they give him the touchdown saying he broke the plane.
Well, that's close, but I agree with you. I think he had the one hand on it, and I'm not sure he had control. So Bukowski comes on for the extra point.
Well, let's take another look at it. I didn't think he had possession of the ball when it broke the plane. Obviously, he knew what he wanted to do. Here comes the tackle. He's striving and stretching to get across the goal line.
You know, he may have control of it with that one hand. I don't know. I might take that back from the wider look.
See, that fumble
looked like it was out of his hand.
That fumble doesn't mean anything.
No, right.
He's already broken the plane.
I think he's got it with one hand over.
Right.
Yeah.
The angle before that, he still had possession in that one hand. Good call.
Presley with 128 yards in the afternoon and a couple of touchdowns. And 20 carries. He's gotten a lot of work.
Speaking of replays, while we were looking at that, we missed the cannon shot. So
how could we miss the cannon?
Here's the replay. There's an art to this thing.
Old Revolutionary War cannon. It's going off a lot this afternoon. 31 points on the board for Rutgers. They lead 31-28.
There were times the coaching staff here thought they were going to point that thing at them.
There are times the fans wanted to. Right now, a happy crowd, though, as the Scarlet Knights lead.
Most insecure profession I think there is, coaching in the college ranks. We talked to the assistants here and talked to Doug Graber, and you know, a couple of the coaches told us, you know, we over years and years of coaching, you get used to insecurity. So we said, well, do you think you'll be back next year? They said, well, if you're a betting man, you probably say no. You prepare for the worst.
Sure.
And if they bring you back, you know it's the best.
Well, the one thing you learn very early on in that profession is lease, don't buy. And that's the name of the game, unfortunately. Kenyatta Watson on the return out across the 20 to the 22-yard line. That's been a tough year for both of these clubs. You look at Rutgers and really the Syracuse game at half. They were playing very well in the first half. Second half, Syracuse came out, blew them out in the second half, and that kind of turned the whole season around. You
know, you wonder how a game like that happens, too. The first half of the Rutgers-Syracuse game, Rutgers had them down 17-3. Probably should have been 28-0. They outgained them like 300 yards to 3. But the second half became all Syracuse. Rutgers was beaten badly, 27-17. And the rest of the season then started to struggle. Although Rutgers is finishing the season strongly with 2 straight wins, 3 of their last 4.
Hartsell the throw. Got Everson wide open on the near sideline and knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. And we take you up to New York and check in with John Saunders again. John?
Terry, Purdue's big fullback Mike Allstott. Here's why he's one of the best in the country. Busts his way through. One knee looked like it was down there, but he gets up and takes off 59 yards down to the 1-yard line, sets up his own touchdown run. 38-14, Purdue over Indiana. Terry.
You know what high school Mike Allstott went to? My alma mater, Joliet Catholic High School in Joliet, Illinois. The pride and joy. Over the middle to the tight end Dragos with a catch up at the 42-yard line. 6 seconds and counting as we put the third quarter to rest. 31-28. 1-28 Rutgers with the lead. 2nd and 5 at the 44 for the Boston College Eagle. Hartsell straight drop out to Everson, open in the flat and up to the 45-yard line of Rutgers, and a first down for the Eagles. Charles Wiley on the stop, and you take a look at how we arrived at this spot, Tim Brandt.
389 total yards for Rutgers. That means this is the 4th straight year they've gone over 4,000 yards. You see the one turnover, that's been huge. Boston College turned it over. Penalties, too, have been a factor, but for the most part, the defenses have not been able to stop the offenses, and so it's been a scoring fest, 31-28. I still believe the first team to make a stop wins.
You're sticking to that story, huh?
Absolutely.
Hartsell will throw again. Under pressure, and Mike Cloud went without the football. Started to run before he caught the ball, and it goes as an incomplete pass, almost an interception.
When you hit it right on the head, watch this. The ball's perfectly thrown. He runs a little slide pattern out of the backfield, turns his head. You can actually see his helmet go, and he starts to move without the ball. He was worried about Sheridan, 43, coming. He wanted to get away from him quickly. Didn't take the ball with him. Play signaled in from the sidelines. They don't use messengers.
Hammered in motion to the far side. 3 receivers set. And now the quick out to Watson, who comes back across the field but is dropped at the 42-yard line. No room at all. As Rutgers read that right from the start. And you know, this season has not been a piece of cake for Boston College either. Look at the schedule they've played. Early on, they beat Virginia Tech, top team in the Big East, along with Miami, Syracuse. We'll find out which one of those two after Saturday will be up there. But then they lost to Army 49-7. It's really been an up and down year for BC, and I guess more downs than ups.
96 schedule for BC is not as tough. Michigan and Notre Dame remain, but Ohio State, Michigan State, Army, they've all been replaced by Hawaii, Cincinnati, and Navy.
Crowd into it now on 3rd and 6. Kenyatta Watson with a catch, trying to make a move. He does, but he's short of the first down.
There's your stop, but if I'm Dan Henning, this is the final game of the year, and the defenses haven't stopped anybody, I'd go for it on 4th.
Go ahead. Rudy Smith made the stop for Rutgers. And looks like they are about a yard and a half short.
Oh, you got to go for it. And they will. They're going to go for it. Hartsell stays in the ball game.
They have to get to the 35. Well, the ball just outside the 36 right now. On 4th and 1. Tripped up right at the line of scrimmage. I don't believe he got there. Amari Walker on the carry.
There's your first stop of the game. Depending on the mark. See if second effort got it. He's awfully close, but that's a great defensive stand by Rutgers that time on 4th down. Boy, they got great penetration by the down lineman.
Had to get to the 35-yard line.
Watch this. If you're on defense, you want to get a new line of scrimmage about a yard deep in their backfield. Look at all the red jerseys. There's the new line of scrimmage, a yard deep. You upend him. The linebackers in secondary then have to fill.
Boy, Rock Giddings came up and under. Look at that.
But that's what you're supposed to do. The down linemen have to create things. They've got to just kind of knife into that backfield, make them go up and over, and let the linebackers fill. They stopped them.
Yeah, they were closer than I thought initially, but
outstanding short yardage defense that time by Rutgers.
So Dan Henning goes for it on 4th down, comes up short, and the opening moments of the 4th quarter could really be a big play here.
Did you just read Dan Henning's lips? Just shook his head and said, oh man, he couldn't believe it. They had less than a yard to go. Good call. You have to go for it there. You're in their territory. They haven't stopped you all day, and all of a sudden they come up with that defensive play.
Lucas to Presley, wrapped up right at the line and falls ahead for about a yard and a half. And we'll take it to John Saunders, get an update on the Heels and the Wolfpack. John, what's going on?
Well, once again, you're not going to like it. Mike Thomas back to pass, and watch the touch on this. 35 yards to Darren Ashford. It sets up Leon Johnson's 6-yard touchdown run. And Terry, your Wolfpack down 30-14.
John, I'm not going to listen to you anymore. I refuse to throw it to John. You're going to throw it from now on.
That's
Timmy.
it. Nope, we're not going back to New York anymore.
A lot of movement and flags everywhere. And the ball knocked away from Marco Battaglia at the 45-yard line.
You know, this will drive a coach nuts. You make a good play. You bring up 2nd down and long. That's what you want your defense to be in. And all of a sudden, your defensive guys jump off sides. Now the question is, and what they're hoping for is to say that they were drawn off, but I doubt it.
Offside. On the defense. 5 yards. Replay, second down.
Might have been Yannick Hakos, the defensive end, and he has since gone to the sideline.
You try to anticipate the count. You want to get a good jump, but you have to be disciplined. You have to sit at home until that ball is snapped, or at least starts to move.
So 2nd and 4 at the 42. Here they come. And Presley almost got by the defensive line. He falls ahead for a couple of yards. We go right back to John Saunders. I said I wasn't going to do it, but we'll go back up and hear about Purdue.
Tackled by Tim
Jock?
Maravito.
All right, Terry, Purdue against Indiana. The story is this guy, Mike Allstott, 62 yards in this touchdown run. Watch the block at the end, right there. That frees him up for the touchdown. He's over 200 yards with 3 touchdowns, and it's a new single-season rushing record for Purdue, 45-14 now.
All right, John. Some kind of runner. Presley having a great day here across midfield and up to the 48-yard line of BC. And we go back down to the former tight end, John Spagnuolo, to talk about the current tight end. John?
Thank you, Terry. You know, if you're going to be an All-American tight end, you need a lot of support from the fans. Marco definitely has it here today. 89 tickets sold to his family members and friends. That's his mother, Marie, right there. Another 70 to teammates at St. Francis Prep. So a big dent in season ticket sales here next year when he graduates. And Tim, the one question you want to answer that you're concerned about, Nino's is open for business at 179th and Midland, and they'll comp some pizza for you if you want to go over to Queens after the game.
See, that's what I'm talking about, Spags. Gave him a good pop. We'll be there later. 179th and Midland.
Change that flight. Make it later.
You know, Marco's a very, very superstitious player. Doesn't like to talk about the National Football League, doesn't like to talk about the future, and I think the family might be that way too. You know, John was going to go up and talk to the mom, and she said, no, not during a ball game. Can't do that. Superstitious.
Keep your game face on.
Yeah, that's right.
Bill Powell on that last catch, just short of a first down. So it's 3rd and less than a yard, and here comes the right side of the Boston College line.
You know, and that was designed by Rutgers. He changed his snap. He was going to a hard count just to draw him off on 3rd and short and get the first down by penalty.
So credit that to Ray Lucas.
Offside. On the defense. 5 yards. First down.
Well, I tell you this, you know, these coaches, they're going crazy. They work really, really hard with their team. There's Billy McGovern, the defensive coordinator, took over for Jim Reed when he went down as the head coach at Richmond. A couple of penalties on this drive have kept Rutgers moving.
Presley met at the line of scrimmage and dropped there. And you can see how muddy it has gotten in the mid-section of the football field. Presley comes out and Bosch comes back in. Presley with 138 yards on the afternoon.
You know, Lucas, having the experience and running this offense, realizes now because the defense made that stop, gave them the ball back with 10 minutes left in the ball game. They're eating up the clock now. They're melting the clock. They score here, meaning Boston College would have to score twice to beat them. They know this is huge. This could be the ball game, this drive.
Lucas looking to run now and slides at the 34-yard line. Got to get inside the 30 to the 28 for a first down. Well, if time permits, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report featuring scores and highlights from around the country. Some of the other games going on. John's been talking about Purdue and Indiana, NC State, North Carolina. So we have time. That follows our game. Ray Lucas now in the afternoon. How about these numbers? 21 out of 31 for 233 yards. Also 1 for 2 TDs and 29 yards rushing. Battaglia, the intended receiver, and he threw behind it.
And threw down. That was a poor pass. He felt the pressure coming and rushed it. Battaglia was the intended receiver right from the get-go. They put him out on the wing. They were going to drag him underneath, but this ball's just poorly thrown. See, he's got to be more patient. He's got to let Battaglia come through and clear the linebacker. Boom, let him come through, let him come through. 2 more steps, you get past the linebacker, and look, he's wide open, but the ball has already been thrown. See, Lucas felt like he didn't have that time to wait. So now Rutgers will go for it on 4th.
4th down, yeah, a little longer though, about 6 yards. You got to get to the 28-yard line. And out of the shotgun is Lucas. He's got Battaglia wide open, and the spin back to the middle of the field. Battaglia to the end zone. What a run by the tight end. They needed 6 for the first down. They got 34. And how about the Battaglia clan in the stands?
They love it. He loves it. Rutgers loves it. He, again, is the main receiver. But look how he separates. He knows he can outrun him. He's their size, but he's a lot quicker. Then look at the moves in the open field and the power down low to get into the end zone. He is special. All-American, 6'3", 240 pounds, the best tight end in America.
Gutowski on for the extra point, and they had 3 or 4 shots at Marco Battaglia. 110 yards on the afternoon, and a look at why this man will play on Sunday afternoons a year from now. And the kickoff out of bounds at the 18-yard line. They'll bring it out.
Boston College will get it on the 35-yard line, but you know, they made it clear the game plan was going to be to Battaglia, and they're going to do everything to get him free. They did. He's lined up in 4 or 5 different spots today: motion, wing, slot, tight end, and wide receiver. Here they free him up in the middle. They take the ball and get it to him just enough for the first down. He does the rest on his own. When the pro scouts say this guy blocks like a guard and runs like a wide receiver, they are exactly right. He's special.
Some great shots from our guys in the truck too. Ben Harvey, our producer. Norm Salmon, our director, straight up from the Georgia Tech game yesterday. And Marco Battaglia taking some bows along the sideline. Hartsell back to throw on 1st and 10 at the 35 and almost picked off. Sheridan had it in his arms. Boy, I'm not sure how he didn't pick it off.
You know, time now becomes a factor for Boston College. They've been fighting Rutgers the entire game and still have to, but now their biggest opponent is the clock, down 2 scores with 8:55 remaining. Look at this. Now Hartsell knows he's got to throw, and this, of course, stops the clock. But he goes up underneath the zone, and the linebackers are just there in the hook area and almost had the pick.
I don't think he ever saw him. He was locked in on his receiver. 2nd and 10, play action. Over the linebacker, but through the hands of Dennis Harding, and he was hounded as he tried to make the catch.
Well, again, they were in a dime package. That's Gil Ross, a backup safety, 19. He's in the ball game now because they're playing so many defensive backs, but you see, again, they're in a zone. They're playing in front and behind, and they're trying to thread and hit the seam, but the seam's not open. Charles Wiley, a backup safety, and Gil Ross had him well covered. I say backup. They're not in there when they run a regular 4 deep, but they are now with the nickel situation.
Hartsell was 10 out of 14 at one point. Now he's 18 out of 28. Straight drop again. And out of the reach of Dennis Harvey.
I said a nickel situation. It's more a dime package. They've got 6 defensive backs in the ball game right now, and Sheridan, the linebacker, who runs like one. He wanted to go to Kenyatta Watson, but Watson's covered over the middle underneath, so they try to go outside. Good coverage there too, but a bad pass is too high. You can see Harding was sitting down and was open there when the ball came, but it was too high and overthrown.
That is open for enough for the first down as well. Jason Malecki on for his 3rd punt of the afternoon. Reggie Funderburk back at his own 30 and calls for the fair catch. And pretty good field position for the Scarlet Knights.
2 defensive stops in a row by Rutgers.
35-yard punt, no return, 8:40 left.
This year fell a little bit short and lost to Baltimore. First time the Grey Cup has come back to the United States.
Yes. Lucas going down to the turf. Giannik Hakas the last time with the sack. And he lost close to 8 on that.
Yeah, seeing that hurts because they wanted to just melt the clock, get a running game going here, and lose the last 8 minutes in this ball game and walk away with a win. That hurts there. Now you're playing defensively. You got to locate Battaglia again. Find out where he is and watch him and cover him closely.
Harper in motion to the near sideline. Presley straight ahead, gains about 4. Tim Morabito made the stop.
Told you that Battaglia coming in had set or was within reach of every receiving record at Rutgers. You can see now 1995, 68 receptions, a school record 62. Still needs a few yards, but 9 touchdowns. See if they can get him one more. This is a single season. He's got 10 touchdowns already. He's broken everything.
Just put his name in the record book, and that's all you need. We'll be back. Rutgers on top as they try to use some clock, but 3rd down and 13. And the mascots battle it out for a while and just say, "How the heck with it."
Walking off together.
Yeah.
It's enough of this. It's been a great show today. Battaglia breaking all the single season scoring records or receiving records here at Rutgers. And again, a miscue.
Well, yeah, Terrence Wiggins coming up to the line to blitz. And it caused movement on the offensive line. So it backs him up once again.
Dead ball. Illegal snap on the offense. 5 yards. Replay 3rd down.
You know, Doug Graber has to just be going crazy. Watch the middle of the screen, the center, 51. He moves a little bit. See him? See the movement there at the center, 51? That kind of
Wiggins pointing right to him. Yeah, to point him out. But backs him up to the 22-yard line. 3rd and 18. Here come the Eagles again, and Lucas runs right by it. He needs a block. Across the 35 to the 36. Chris Sullivan ran him down. But well short of the first down. Had to get to the 41-yard line for a first down, but gives him some room to punt at least. But he can run. There is no question about it.
Yeah, he's fun to watch, too. You talk about escapability. He escapes, gets outside. Look at the moves he puts on the cornerback. Here's a guy. He has 15 touchdowns passing. The last 3 games, they said, have been the best of his career. He's played pretty well.
There it's Sloven with the punt. Short punt. But it takes a Rutgers bounce. And down at the 27-yard line. And BC will try to start their drive there. A punt of 37 yards. And, of course, no return. And don't forget, tomorrow at noon Eastern, there's your lineup. Number 2 Ohio State taking on Michigan. Rose Bowl implications, of course, there. And then Florida State tackles number 3 Florida. Great double action there. And boy, hard to get 2 better games than that taking place. Then at 3:30, one of golf's most entertaining events. Tom Watson, Fred Couples, Corey Pavin, and Peter Jacobson play the Skins game. It's all tomorrow here on ABC Sports. Stood up right at the line of scrimmage is Mike Cloud, going nowhere. And let's take you briefly to New York to check in again with John Saunders. John?
Terry, Otis Armstrong is having his name just annihilated out of the record books. His career mark is gone, single season. And now Mike Allstott, 35 yards on this run, is just 4 shy of his single game mark. He's got 272 right now. Back to you.
272 yards. Hartsell to Watson, complete at the 46-yard line, and a first down as he's driven out of bounds. Cameron Chadwick, backup cornerback, along with Brian Sheridan, made the stop.
You know, unlike the last series, Hartsell shows great patience this time. They're still sitting in that zone. It's loosened up. It's even become more prevent. He lets Watson just get down in the middle of that seam, set down, find the open area, and hit him. That's all Hartsell has to do as long as they're playing a soft zone.
Gain of 18, 5:50 and counting here. So plenty of time. Watson with a catch wide open over the middle. And down to the 34-yard line, they'll move the chains. Clock stops. Norris Crawford made the stop, but a gain again, this time of 20 yards.
Yeah, that drives me crazy when teams get to this situation and start loosening up and playing a prevent. Just come on up, play like you have the entire game. A lot of times that prevent will just prevent you from winning.
That's a 10-point game, but there's plenty of time here. The give inside the Cloud, and he's got plenty of room. Bouncing down to the 20-yard line.
It's because the defense is spread so far all over the field that it even opened the middle. You know, the safety, look at number 2. When we go to this replay, you will not believe it from the end zone. Safety is playing 20 yards off the ball. Look at number 2 down here in the bottom of the screen. He's 20 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Hartsell over the middle. Watson is just pounded to the ground. Ryan Sheridan on the coverage, and he met him as soon as he made the catch. Ryan Sheridan, the #1 tackler on the Rutgers defense, came into the game with 124 tackles. Cloud, the inside give down to the 13-yard line. Will they keep it on the ground? Mike Bell made the stop.
See, now they're down in the red zone. The defense has to tighten up a little bit. They don't have as much room to play with, and they make a play defensively.
But it brings up 3rd and 3 now at the 13, Tim. Caught inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. That's just about where they need to get. Dragos with a catch. And we'll see if it's enough for a first down.
And you know, Sheridan, 43, made the tackle. And he had the receiver all the way. But he was playing so far back, he was down at the 4-yard line. He could not get up to the 10 in time to make the tackle.
The give to Mike Cloud along the left side, and he may have gained a yard. But that's about it. But brings up 2nd and goal from the 8-yard line. And again, Sheridan on the tackle. And 8 total tackles on the afternoon.
I think Boston College needs 2 scores. They need a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and a field goal to win. Defensive coordinator, John Gutekunst.
Dragos in motion on 2nd and goal. Boy, he had him open too. Harding was open and he slipped on this field. That is one he'd like to have back. But now you're looking at 3rd and goal from the 8.
Harding looked like he was going to slide back in and then move to the outside, and there was nobody there. Boy, Hartsell has to hit that pass.
I think the slip really hurt him there. Falls out of his hands before the receiver slipped. Hartsell to the end zone and a touchdown. Dennis Harding with the catch, the redshirt freshman out of Baltimore. And this one is not over by any means. The 8-yard pass from Hartsell to Harding makes it 38-34.
Playing soft again. Even down in the red zone, they're playing zone. They're just letting guys get into the seam. Boy, Harding's had a big day. He has really played well, and Hartsell put that ball right where he had to.
And Dan Henning will go for 2 here because 1 just gets him within field goal, within 3 points.
Well, that's right. That's what we said. See, if he gets 2 here, a field goal wins the game for him in the next possession.
And Rutgers wants to talk it over on the sidelines. We'll be back in a moment. Brings him to the line with Mike Cloud in the backfield. Everson in motion to the far side. Straight drop. Over the middle and incomplete. He couldn't hold on.
Oh, Everson had him. He was wide open and he couldn't hold on. Boy, this is a good throw by Hartsell too. Look at this view. Now you're in the secondary. There's Hartsell, top of your screen, middle, throws underneath. Look at this. Everson wide open and it bounces right off his chest. That was good for 2 points. Look at him. Oh my, that's a huge play.
So it remains a 4-point game. 38-34 with 3:49 left. Now on the kickoff, do you go ahead and kick deep here, Timmy?
Well, first of all, now because of that drop of the 2-point conversion, you know you have to score a touchdown to win this ball game.
Right.
So I'm not sure I'd go. There's too much time for an onside kick, and plus you'd give them good field position to melt the clock. So I'd go ahead and kick it. I'm not sure I'd kick it deep. They've been trying to pooch that and squib it. You don't want a big return, but you do want to give, take away any good field position they may get out of a short kick.
To do that, you have to have confidence in your defense. And is that something that Dan Henning does have at this point? That's the big question.
Yeah, plus it's a sloppy field. We haven't seen a deep kick all day. As a matter of fact, the deep backs for Rutgers are only at the 20-yard line.
Earl Willis back deep. And that's exactly where he is. He's the lone man back at the 20.
Best thing to do, I think, would be to kick away from him to one side or the other, but kick it over the two lines of defense up near the 25 or 30-yard line, one of those sunshine kicks. He's got it lined up like an onside kick.
Chad Bosch, the backup tailback, is standing right at the 35-yard line. There it is. That's exactly what they do, and there are flags on the play. Bosch turning it back up to the 43-yard line, but we'll see what the flag is all about.
That's what it is. It's called a sunshine kick. They try to pooch it over the two lines of defense. Wasn't executed very well. That's what I say. It wasn't executed well. Plus, they kicked it straight down the middle rather than one of the sides to the open areas. Take a look. Now, this is what is probably the best call to make. Just kick it over the two lines of defense, but you want to kick it right or left, not down the middle where the guy's standing to receive it.
So it's a first down at the 43, and Luke is going to throw here. Over the middle to Powell and incomplete. Broken up by Rob Clifford. And they come out throwing on first down.
Boy, that surprises me. I mean, all you have is 3.5 minutes left in the game. You want to melt the clock and let that clock go away and get out of here with a win. Powell's open. The ball's a little bit high, and he's hit immediately. Still, I'm surprised they're throwing.
Now if you run, you don't get anything. You bring up 3rd and long and have to throw again. The clock doesn't run. Bruce Presley, the lone back in the backfield.
That was a 6-second play. You want to melt this thing.
Presley, the handoff straight ahead across midfield and up to the 48 of BC, probably about 1.5 yards short of a first down. Terrence Wiggins made the stop. But a big hole for Presley, and they've been there all day long.
Boy, it really was a big hole. Watch this, Terry, from behind. They go straight up the middle. Nice job by the center. Moves guys off to the right. Gorman got his block. Kennedy got his. And Presley just moved it down, and now it'll be 3rd down and only 2 yards.
And Presley 151 yards on the afternoon, a couple of touchdowns. It's 3rd and a long one as you look at the comparisons. Lucas to throw on 3rd. Throws behind Powell, and I'll tell you what, you know, there's a chance for that one to be picked off.
I'm shocked. It was 3rd down and a long one, and they're throwing a pass. Oh, the crowd doesn't like that a lot.
Well, I can understand why. You keep it on the ground, you get the first down, and you let the clock run once it starts again. You got a whole new set of downs. Now you have to punt it away.
Stan Parrish, the offensive coordinator.
Sloven with the punt. End over end. Watson at the 21-yard line. And BC now with 2 minutes and 42 seconds to start a drive, take it downfield, and try to win this game.
I can't believe that. One series, they start it with great field possession. They throw 2 incompleted passes, which stops the clock. They 3rd down and 1. They go with a pass, and they give the ball back now to Boston College with 2:42. Tons of time left.
Kept it for less than a minute. Tried it to Presley the one time.
Here's a look at Doug Graber. He's trying to save his job. There's a lot of pressure on him here.
So first down at the 23. Watson in motion to the near side. Plenty of time for BC to come back. Hartsell over the middle to Watson, and he drops the ball. Boy, it would have been a heck of a catch, but just couldn't hold on.
Rutgers gets a break there because he was wide open. They're still playing a soft zone. And right now, Hartzell's tearing it apart. Look at this. There is not a defender within 5 yards of him.
You know, actually, I don't think he needed to jump for that ball, to dive for that ball. It's a pretty good throw.
I was going to say Hartzell could almost just give him a basketball pass. All he has to do is get it to him. There was nobody within 5 yards of him.
On their feet in the BC booth. Second and 10. Hartsell had a lot of time, now flushed out. And tipped, broken up. Cameron Chadwick, the backup cornerback, broke up that pass. A bit underthrown, maybe.
One thing about a zone, though, guys will come open. They will be open, but you can't wait like this too long, because then once they locate you in a seam, they get back there to it. Boy, that's an outstanding play right there to get a hand on it defensively.
Yeah, Chadwick
just knocked it away.
Hartsell now 23 out of 37, 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'm sure he doesn't care about any of that right now, though. 2:29 left. On the roll. To Harding. Complete at the 40-yard line. Dennis Harding with the catch, and they'll move the chains.
Clock stops as they move the chains for the first down with 2:22 left. Still plenty of time left.
Boy, that's a big play.
When Hartsell throws this on a string, too. Look at it. Good coverage, gets it out there. Wiley's the man covering, and Harding has been his favorite receiver all afternoon.
6 catches for Harding, a gain of 18. First down at the 41-yard line. Hartsell, a straight drop back. Complete to his tight end, Hemmer. Up to the 46-yard line, and they'll move it again. Another first down for BC.
We keep talking about Hartsell, the quarterback, and the receivers making the catches, but how about Kendall, Brzezinski, O'Brien, Nuri, and Ariskovich? Those guys are giving him plenty of time to throw.
Soft coverage in the secondary, and a lot of time to throw for Hartsell.
Soft coverage, no pressure.
A bad combination for a defense. Complete to Watson. Inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. A minute 57 as the clock stops.
And you know, on that field right now, Boston College with the momentum feels we're going to win this game. And Rutgers now is doubting itself. Again, in a soft zone, they let him go. They find the seam and the big pickup.
Gain of 23. Hartsell to throw again. Complete to Michael Hemmer. Drags the defender down to the 16-yard line. As the clock continues to run, a minute 43 and counting.
Every time Hartsell comes to the line of scrimmage, he's basically seeing the exact same defense. The alignment's the same, and he knows it's a zone.
38 to 34, Rutgers with the lead. Hartsell to throw. Wide open over the middle is Watson inside the 10 down to the 7-yard line. And a first down for BC.
See, the Rutgers players now are looking at themselves and they're saying, oh no, here we go again. We can't stop them. 1:25 left. Well, Boston College is saying, hey, it's a matter of time. Now, Boston College doesn't want to score too quickly here and give time back.
First and goal at the 8. Hartsell complete inside the 5 to the end zone. Todd Pollack, the tight end. And can you believe the comeback by BC? A minute 16 left on the clock. And Boston College only moments ago trailed by 10. They punched it into the end zone. They stopped him. And now they're up by 2, going to kick it.
Crowd now chanting, Doug must go. This is not a happy crowd. It's more like a lynch mob.
Well, there's no question you can question the play calling on that last drive. McGuire for the extra point. Straight through. 6 straight completions for Hartsell on that last drive, the go-ahead drive. Dan Henning on the sideline, obviously very happy, but still a minute 16 left.
Look at Hartsell. First of all, look at the time he has. Then look at his receivers. Well, how easy was this entire drive? I mean, there's Pollack. Pollack didn't even play very often either. And you have to believe they've been short kicks the entire game. You have to believe Rutgers will get decent field position.
Bosch and Willis back deep, but they're deeper than they were. Bosch is back inside his 10. And the deep kick. It'll be Willis. Still on his feet, bounces outside. Across the 40 and ran out of bounds. Well, he ran out about the 44-yard line. That's a heck of a return for Willis. Shalom Tolfree ran him out of bounds. Billy Gustin was there as well to make the stop. But good field position for Rutgers here with a minute 8 left. First down at the 42. Lucas under pressure. Scrambling. Throwing. And dropped by Presley, and there are flags on the play right about the 40-yard line.
Like it's going to be holding against Rutgers.
Not only sends them back, but took time off the clock as well.
See, this is where Lucas, who is a very mobile quarterback, he's got those escapability. The escapability you look for in a quarterback, and he's got some receivers. He's got to spread them wide. He's got to use that, buy some time, and try to hit the sidelines.
Line, pass interference on the offense. Accepted, 10 yards, pass it down.
Yeah, that really hurts.
Got a man downfield. Had offensive pass interference. They had it all. Keep an eye on Battaglia. 81. So I don't see anything that's really illegal here.
Yeah, by the time there was contact, ball was already
Ball
thrown.
was gone.
Yeah. They're down by 3 right now. If they drive down to try to kick a field goal, Nick Mickemeyer replaced earlier in the game by Joe Kukowski. And so you have a replacement field goal kicker in there that would try it. Thrown to Stephen Harper, and he held on. What a nice catch by Harper.
Harper also came down on the ball. I think he knocked the wind out of himself and actually hurt his arm on the play as well. Watch this. He has to go down to get it. Lands on the elbow. I think he hit the crazy bone and also rolled over on top of the ball. They don't have time to wait for the injury, though. They got to get up. 45 seconds left. Clock still moving.
Lucas under pressure, throws it away. And that'll bring up 4th down. Sullivan was in on it.
So that should bring up a 4th down. 4th down and 10. It's a big defensive play right there. See, they played a game. Chris Cross came with a little what we used to call R behind Chris Sullivan with a huge play, the defensive tackle. Boy, he was heavily recruited by Penn State, UCLA, Michigan, Syracuse. Opted instead for Boston College. He's a good player.
So it's 4th and 10. Rutgers needs to get to the 49, maybe the 48 of BC. Lucas scrambling, looking, has a man, and a catch by Powell, and a 1st down.
That'll stop the clock with 29 seconds to move the chains. That's what we're talking about as escapability. See how he buys time, avoided the pressure, made the clutch throw.
The initial play by Lucas, and then a nice play by Powell to hang on after he took the hit.
Clock play stops it with 27 seconds. Keep in mind the field goal by Rutgers ties it. But they have had trouble with the kicking game.
Don't forget Oklahoma and #1 Nebraska following our game. Not a bad Thanksgiving weekend of football here on ABC, huh? Joe Kukowski warming up on the sideline. Came in for Nick Mickemeyer, but missed a couple of kicks earlier in the game.
They have to get the ball, though, inside the 30 to be within range.
Over the middle, caught by Battaglia. He looks and drives straight ahead to the 33-yard line.
All right, that's got to stop the clock again for the 1st down.
He's got 18 on the clock. And now the timeout taken by Rutgers. The genuine Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, Mark Hartsell of Boston College and Marco Battaglia of Rutgers, both with big afternoons here at Rutgers today. And celebrating its 25th year of sponsorship, Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. Battaglia with 120 yards on 9 receptions this afternoon, and Hartsell 342 yards, 4 touchdowns. Would like to catch another one within the next 18 seconds.
Still with 1 timeout left. Rutgers can't panic. If you go to him, at least he can get the ball to the sidelines.
Had a nice catch a moment ago, though.
Battaglia has been most effective across the middle, but that eats time.
So first down at the 34 with 18 seconds left. Lucas under pressure. Throws it to Bosch out of the backfield. Still up to the 13.
They've got to call timeout. 8 seconds left as they move the chains, but they got to get a timeout here. Just get the field goal unit on.
Reggie Funderburg calling timeout right away when Bosch went down. Well, what a play by Lucas to get that one away.
Tell me this guy, 6'3", 205 pounds, doesn't buy time. He feels the pressure, knows he can't escape, so he just steps backwards a couple of times to buy it. Hope of back will free up. His safety valve, which was Chad Bosch, does free up, and it becomes a huge play. So it all comes down now with 8 seconds to the field goal kicker. Nick Mickmeyer started the game as the field goal kicker. Had some problems. Missed a couple of.
Oklahoma and Nebraska coming up next, so don't forget that. Stick around for that game. Number 1 Nebraska. Moments away from the finish here. Rutgers out of timeouts at this point. Dan Henning, yeah, you would imagine he'd pace on the sideline.
Boy, this is dangerous.
You think they have one shot here?
Field goal.
One shot to the end zone.
8 seconds. Why not kick a field goal?
To the end zone and intercepted. Rob Clifford with the interception. And Lucas on his hands and knees. The comeback comes up short.
Field goal would have tied the game.
Yep.
Definitely within range.
Well, the kicking problems that Rutgers had, Nick Mickmeyer earlier replaced by Joe Kukowski, I think has tried and made one field goal on the year. Maybe that went into the decision, but you have 8 seconds left, and you know the worst possible thing for Doug Graver is the interception